back to episode 2 of Venture Side of Things. Tonight we have my good friend Paul, an ex-police officer, correct, Paul?
Yep.
And tonight we're going to be talking about the pandemic that's happening across the nation and the globe, the coronavirus. So, Paul, what do you think about that?
Well, what I think I'm seeing a lot of is a lot of panic. Not to say by any means that you shouldn't be concerned that this isn't a serious problem, but in 30 years of policing, the one thing I learned is panic kills common sense and logic. Like, for example, why are people going out and buying up all the toilet paper?
That's exactly what I want to know. Why toilet paper? No food, just toilet paper.
Not even water. Toilet paper.
Like, do they plan to sell it back at the end or something?
I don't know. I have no idea. But, you know, I mean, I have family members and friends that will be considered what they call compromised people.
Yeah.
People that have to be extra careful. As a matter of fact, I could be considered compromised too, and not because of my age. Okay, because I'm not in my 80s.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Well, listen, I have the autoimmune disease, psoriasis.
Exactly.
So, you know, my immune system's not as great as it can be or should be. So I have to be pretty much careful.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a couple things you have to look at. And one of the things I'm seeing between the media not giving just the facts, but just playing it up. Like, for example, they announced that it's considered now a worldwide pandemic.
Yeah.
Now, I heard a doctor, as this was announced, literally say, hey, that's no big deal. We all knew that was coming. Not to say it isn't serious. Not to say it isn't a problem. But the fact that they put a label pandemic on it strictly means, okay, that it's a virus that they don't already have a known cure for.
Okay.
And it's spreading globally.
Yeah, well, obviously that was going to happen because people are traveling.
But we've known that for 3 weeks.
Pretty much.
Okay.
But here's the situation. I keep seeing stories and whatnot, and a lot of other doctors saying that the flu is actually killing more people. I think I read somewhere where this past week, as the week that we're doing this show, 5,000 people across the nation of the USA have passed just from the influenza, the flu.
Yeah.
You know, at all ages, I'm assuming.
People were making fun of the president. I don't know if you remember, but when he first started doing the briefings this with his team, people were laughing at him because he said he had no idea that annually you're talking anywhere from like 29,000 to something like 69,000 people die.
Now, is this from the flu?
From the flu.
See, they don't talk about that so much in the media. That's the main problem.
Well, another thing that's going on with this particular virus right now is if you take the fact that it's something like 35 million people a year get infected with flu. 35 million people. The amount of deaths from that, although it could be, say, 30,000, that's a minuscule percentage of 35 million.
Yeah.
Okay? The problem with this is, or part of the problem is that people are getting really, really freaked out over the fact that they're saying already right now it's like 10 times deadlier. And it spreads faster. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that they don't have the widespread data on the numbers. Like, for example, they don't know. You don't get counted if you never show symptoms.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't even
go to the doctor.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. If you don't show symptoms or you have a little bit and you don't go to the doctor, you're one of those strong type of people, nobody knows.
Exactly.
So it's like you're not part of the statistic.
So you're not counted.
Exactly.
So you don't have that big number shown of infection as opposed to the actual death rate.
Pretty much. Now here's my other thing. Do you think that the media is overstepping it?
Absolutely, I do. I think what they're doing in a lot of ways, because let's face it, the media has their agenda, and their agenda is ratings. Okay?
Yeah, big time. Big time ratings.
The only way they're going to get ratings is if they give you something that's like a blast in the face.
I mean, what was it? Like 3 or 4 days into it, the ABC network had outbreak?
Yeah.
It was almost like a movie as a show. And then they had the blonde lady on there. I don't remember her name. And she was telling you what to do and what not to do. And then I think before all of those masks got bought out, she's the one that came on and said, oh, the N95, put the mask on. And all of a sudden, people were jacking up, gouging prices for a 50-cent mask. And mind you, it was probably made in China.
Oh, yeah. And what most people don't really understand is the masks per se don't necessarily protect you as much from getting anything.
No.
Those are good for people who already have it, so that if they
so
cough
you don't
and sneeze, they don't get it on anybody else.
Pretty much.
I mean, I was thinking about this, and believe me, I'm no doctor, I'm no scientist, I'm not even a researcher per se.
Yeah, just think logically.
Yes. Common sense.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Common sense.
It's 4 elements, 4 key elements to success, and some of it may have to be adapted a little bit for people at risk, like you or me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? Distance. Number 1. If you don't let anybody closer to you that you don't know than 3 feet, they can't do nothing to you with this.
Pretty much. And you know my day job. I work with people all day long. I get in people's cars. I touch things, So all the last couple of days, I've been washing my hands every 5 minutes. I'm surprised I'm not, cracked and dry rotted.
Well, you got to make sure you keep it moisturized. Because that's actually worse. Because especially if you're using, like hand sanitizer and stuff, the alcohol in that dries out your skin.
Yes.
And that leaves openings for the virus to get in easier.
But get this, I never knew. I thought by using the hand sanitizer, germs would pretty much die instantly, especially with the 60% or more alcohol content.
Right.
But it's not.
No.
I think it takes about between 20 seconds and 2 minutes.
That's why you still need a good barrier of your skin.
Okay, so the lotion would help that.
Right.
Okay.
You want to keep it moisturized. You don't want it to get dried out or cracking like that at all.
But even washing hands, I remember like when I get home from work, washing hands, touching the kids, do like a quick 10-second wash, and you think everything's okay.
Right.
But then they say 20 to 30 seconds you have to keep washing your hands and do it. So now the whole family's doing it.
I mean, like I said, 4 elements that really, for the most part, people should be doing already anyway.
Yeah, now everybody should be washing
hands. You should be doing more of it, but distance, number 1. If you're not putting yourself in an area where you're going to be in close proximity to people, okay, very little risk of getting anything. Of course, that has to be adjusted depending on what's going on with your particular family situation, where they've been, who they've been in contact with, what's going on. Number 1 is distance. Number 2, I would say just using caution, and this is more for everybody other than just yourself. Well, having a tissue or using your, the crook of your arm.
Your sleeve to sneeze.
To cough and sneeze. So you're not spreading it on people.
And look away. Like if somebody's in front of me and I'm talking to them at the office, what I do is I'll turn to the side, I'll cough in my arm, you know what I mean? Make sure everything's okay, and then start talking to them. It's more of a respect, like a, hey, I'm not going to cough your way type of thing.
Well, you know what? I think it's a little different now because back in my day when I first started learning etiquette of this kind of stuff, we used to just kind of like cover with your hand.
Oh yeah.
And the bad thing about that is you do that now, you put it on your hand.
Well, you know what that reminds me of like people that used to smoke back in the day. They would just blow the smoke right in your face. Oh, now they look away, they look up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
They go outside and they freeze.
I still smoke, so.
Oh yeah, and I understand.
I mean, I'm good with that.
I guess you learn the etiquette as the
you have to adapt. But you think about common sense, the distance you are to potential. It's because you know what? This is why I think a lot of people are panicking and freaking out. They got some notion in their head, probably because of all the media blasting on it, that this stuff is just running around free in the air everywhere.
Oh, I know. You're going to drink some tap water and catch it.
Yeah, that's not what's going on.
I mean, here's the thing about water. If you're so afraid of the water, boil it. Put it in a bottle and refrigerate it, or put some ice with it, and there you go. You have free bottled water from your tap that you're already paying for anyway.
Well, I mean, not for nothing, but bottled water.
It's tap water.
But do you know what the processes this goes through?
They filter it like a Brita filter, probably.
The container is like steam cleaned and stuff before they put anything in it.
And that's probably as far as they go.
Yeah.
Why see, or else, hey, listen, if they went any further. It's not like
to have a taster, taking a sip and putting the cap on before they sell it.
If they went any further, the bottled water would be what? $4 or $5 by now.
Exactly.
And I think some of the higher price ones, like Fiji or Fuji, whatever they call it, I think those are expensive anyway.
Yeah, so what do we get? We got two. We got distance. We got covering up so you're not spraying it on people.
Yep.
Okay? Surfaces.
Yeah, make sure all the surfaces are cleaned.
Well, not only making sure your surfaces are clean, like in the workplace, and, I mean, obviously in your workplace, it's a little harder to do that kind of.
Well, I do it all the time, but here's the worst portion of my workplace: when you deal with customers and a lot of cash.
Right.
Cash exchange.
Yeah, money.
Exactly. Money, I think, is the dirtiest thing ever because it goes everywhere. I mean, listen, it can go from a stripper's butt crack, from a bra, right to your wallet, and then you can give it to your kid for lunch money. Does the money ever get laundered, so to say, through, through laundry?
Hasn't that really always been the case?
That's what I'm saying. It has always been the case. But the problem is, even after I do use money, like if my wife were to go shopping and I would give her cash, so to say, before I even touch my kids and anything, I'd wash my hands. Mm-hmm. I think I even said something today to my wife. She had to go shopping for something. I said, listen, here's like 100 or 20 or whatever. And then right after that, my kids were running up to me. I said, ho, wait a minute. Let me wash my hands, and then I can play with you kids.
See, that's the kind of thing that you can remember when you're not panicked.
But you have to keep it.
You have to keep a clear head, and panic kills that.
But it's repetition.
You got to basically form good or better habits. You might have already been having good habits, now you have to have better habits, at least until this is completely under control, which I personally believe it's going to be pretty soon.
Well, here's a habit that's funny, and you notice this going to the men's room. Mm-hmm. How many guys do you actually see after they go to the bathroom, number one or number two, wash their hands? And I'm not talking about a serious wash. You get some guys, they throw the water.
Oh, believe me, not enough.
That's what I'm saying.
Not enough.
Not enough. And every time I leave the men's bathroom, I always rip a piece of paper off and grab the door handle. And a lot of times, if the person who cleans the bathroom is smart, they'll leave the garbage can right near the door. So you open it up and throw the thing in there and walk right out. Unless you're one of those crazy people that you wait for somebody to come in and you're like, oh my God, thank you.
I can tell you this is fact, okay? Public places that I've been to with public restrooms, been going to consistently for a long time. I never used to see a lot of guys really going at it, washing their hands. The last time I was there, everybody, they were using the soap, like left and right.
Oh yeah,
it was good. Paper all over. Somebody actually took paper and wrapped the bathroom door handle, and left the wrap.
I've seen that before. Yes, where they do that and then they just open it and they never throw it out and they walk out. And then you come in next and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, what do I do now? But the funny thing is, even if you wash your hands in the bathroom, that's the other thing. Is you wash your hands, and then let's say if it's one of those bathrooms where you got to shut off the water by yourself, or if you hit it to keep washing your hands,
right?
Like the push button, and then you have the blower. You either have the one that you push, or the one you put your hand on, and I've heard or I've read that even those are dirty because if you don't clean them on the inside, the fans and whatnot in the bathroom the condensation, they develop bacteria that you don't see.
Right.
Or the ones you put your hands in, who knows what people do to that?
Well, part of the good news is, I noticed, especially today, on my cell phone, I must have gotten like 80 emails just from businesses of all types telling me all the steps they're taking now. They're announcing it.
All the steps for their employees?
For everybody, customers. Anyway, I mean, like you know Harbor Freight Tools, right?
Yeah, Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight sent me a message telling me what they're doing to clean and keep everything good. And
so like if me and you go in there, we pick up a hammer, we look at it, we put it down, are you telling me that their employees are coming there and spraying them? Or are they doing a mass spray?
I think they're doing mass sprays, but they're basically
like they got some Roundup.
They're stepping the whole thing up with the shopping carts, the baskets, stuff that people use and put back and use and put back.
Yeah.
But they literally are saying that if they develop a problem in any of their stores, they're going to shut the store down, disinfect the whole store, pay their employees to be home,
and then test,
and then open up.
Well, listen, at this point, I mean, if you're that scared, you might as well do it. But then again, I think that when you close at night, I think all stores should clean themselves. Like say Walmart.
It's probably not a bad idea. I'm
saying like Walmart. See the crazy people to go to Walmart? I would disinfect that place every night of the week.
Target, they're doing that now. Target has said to me, sent me an email saying all the blah, blah, blah. They're stepping up this and that. And now what they used to do at one interval Now it's going to be like nightly.
Okay.
They're going to do the whole thing.
Target, it's always felt like it's cleaner anyway. Like, don't get me wrong.
A little bit.
You know, a little bit. Like, if you go to Walmart, especially in some shady areas, if Walmart feels kind of dirty. Like, when I leave Walmart, and I'm like, ugh. But then if I go to Target, I'm still okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very weird. Very weird. You think. Yeah, exactly. I would never go to the bathroom in any of these places, unless I really had to.
All right, so what do we got? Distance, containing your normal coughing and sneezing, surfaces, okay, which none of this is a big deal or anything, especially the thing that with the surfaces you got to keep in mind, like, in your house who's been touching what, pretty much.
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
When you're out in the public places,
you don't know.
Now, for surfaces, this is the one, it was sad and hilarious at the same time. Somebody put on Facebook a video, and the caption was, the parents are like freaking out or whatever about the virus. And then children, and it had a little girl.
I saw that one.
With a railing. She's literally licking it back and forth, having a good time.
I saw that. And nobody's paying attention?
Nobody's doing nothing.
You know what I mean?
Well, somebody's filming her.
Yeah. Why wouldn't that guy say something? You know what I mean? Like, listen, when we go, obviously, my daughter, she's going to be 2, so to say, in October. But when we go out, if I see her go down for the cart, like say if I'm in Target or anywhere and I have a cart, number one, I always wipe down the cart, right? And they say you got to wipe it down for 2 minutes, the cart.
Right.
So now I got to hold a screaming kid, wipe it down the best I can, you know what I mean? Put her in there, and then if I see her go down to lick anything or whatever like that, it's like I got to stop her. I got to give her my arm to bite or something like that to move around, Right. And then I see people just throw kids in carts like nothing. Like they don't give a shit, man. You know what I mean? I guess you have 2 different types of parents. You have the crazy helicopter parent that makes sure everything's okay. Then you have maybe the mediocre parent. Actually, 3 types. And then you have the one that just doesn't give a fly about anything.
No, it's like survival of the fittest.
Pretty much.
You're either going to make it on your own or you're not.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And that's what scares me, especially in school. Like, I know for a fact that my son's school, he's in preschool right now, but I know for a fact that after every night, they clean everything. They disinfect all the toys and everything the kids play with, because obviously, listen, kids are germaphobes. Right. They might not catch it because they've already had it, but then they come home and they give it to me, they give it to mom, they give it to you, or even the grandparents. So let's just say I haven't really heard of any children have this COVID-19 coronavirus, because I don't know if it's their immune system's a lot stronger.
No. Here's the thing. The children that actually have tested, that they have had, like, I think it's from 9 years and down.
So they have had children have it.
Tested positive, but shown no symptoms, not gotten sick, not anything.
Okay. So it just runs its course and then leaves?
Yeah. So like not even. It's like they're carriers for a little while. Because I think the incubation period is like between 5 and 6 days, but they don't get sick. Okay, now I don't know. I didn't.
I think it was 14 days.
14 days they say
full blown
is to make sure it's completely out of your system or whatever.
Yeah.
Now personally, I think I didn't really look into it that far. I think the 14-day time the CDC has set. Obviously, if anything, they have to err on the side of caution. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's probably like more like a week to 10 days, you're probably clear, even if you were exposed.
Yeah, well, even so, I wouldn't
unless you have a compromised system.
Well, I wouldn't go visit my grandparents in the hospital or even an old age home.
But what I'm saying is, 14 days isn't unreasonable if you know you have been exposed, whether or not you're positive.
Well, speaking about being exposed, I don't know if you heard or read the story about the student or girl that was in Milan, Italy. She came back to the country. I don't know what state it was. I can't remember that far. And speaking about being in Milan, you would think, hey, let me stay home.
Right.
So she hung out with the family, hug and kiss. I think they went to some type of party, bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah. The father and daughter went to father and daughter daddy dance.
Right.
And I don't know if they got people sick. I think they did. And now it's a big what do you do in the media, because now people are against them, and they're like, listen, we didn't know, but your daughter just came home from Italy. Italy's on quarantine. Why would you go out? Stay home. And now everybody's attacking them, and then they're like telling people in the media, well, not like, we can do whatever we want and nobody can tell us what to do. And it's like, yeah, but common sense. If you're sick and you have a disease that's going to kill humanity, what are you going to go to the mall?
Well, the way I see it, it's like a double-edged sword in America, because obviously it's not like China. We're not just going to throw troops up and
no, obviously the government's
lock
not
people down or
martial
doing
law
that stuff. Yeah, we're not declaring martial law.
And that's
there.
part of the problem. It's a good thing
Now,
that we
the
don't
other side,
have that.
The freedoms and liberty that we have in this country can be our own worst enemy, because then you have people that will do stuff that's completely against everybody's interest. It's not common sense.
Just because they can.
Because it's sheer arrogance, because I can do what I want.
Exactly.
Okay? For most people, I think there's, a balance. What it is they need to have good information. The better the information, the better people will do it. Because you know what? You're not talking about a big deal. I mean, especially if you're in your house and let's say you touch some stuff out or whatever that you're a little suspicious about, you don't know exactly, well, you wash your hands right away. I mean, if you think there's a problem that got into your house or something on a surface, well, you clean the surfaces with the proper stuff and clean your hands properly.
Pretty much. But here's the other thing I was going to say. I remember...
And don't touch your face.
Well, that's number one. And here's my problem. I'm a nail biter.
Oh, that's bad.
I'm watching TV, suspension, I'm biting my nails. And I was even telling my wife last night, I was watching something on Netflix, and I'm biting my nails, and she's hitting me in bed like, why are you biting your nails? I'm like, well, thank God I washed my hands. You know what I mean? But here's the other thing I was trying to get at. A few years ago, didn't they also say, stop using hand sanitizer so much, because then the more you use it, the more bacteria and viruses can grow immune to it, and now you can't find them on the shelves.
They did say that, but
which I think is true. Everything adapts.
Well, that's the problem with everything. Everything that's out there or being created adapts. Even this virus.
Oh, it adapted, yeah, because it's a second strain.
It's exactly a second strain. It already adapted.
Now, how do you think the virus came to be? Do you think in that Wuhan they were cutting up some fish and chicken and pig at the same time?
No way. No way.
You think it's man-made?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Now, listen.
Now, why do you think they released it?
I can't say this is the difference between fact and opinion. My opinion is, okay, and everything points to it as far as I'm concerned, but my opinion is this was cooked up in the lab in China, okay, because that's what that lab was doing.
Are you talking about the scientist or the?
I'm talking about that level 4 lab in Wuhan, China.
Yeah.
Okay, where all the people are wearing, encapsulated suits with separate air supplies and stuff.
But didn't they have a doctor that came out and said, hey, this is just released, and didn't he pass on?
Pass on? Yeah. 35 years old.
I mean, he died.
Died. Okay.
From the...
Yeah, they say. Okay,
well, I'm telling you, we're in China now, so we don't know what's happening.
What I'm telling you is my belief is in China. They know that at least he was telling stuff they didn't want told.
Yep.
So the cure of lead being inserted into the back of the head didn't work on him.
Yeah.
Didn't cure him.
Yeah.
Stopped him from talking. Okay?
That's
but it didn't cure the virus.
All right.
35 years old, no health problems or anything, and he didn't make it.
He could have survived.
Yeah. Okay.
But then you got to think, if he was part of the problem of creating it, maybe he got a hardcore strain of it. Like he was in front of it, and he got most of it. Because what they're trying to say is, you can have it, and if I'm 6 feet away, and say you breathe, and I don't get that much of the virus in me, I might not get it at all.
I personally have a suspicion. I really do believe this. The same guy who was talking about it, who didn't make it, knew what was going on.
He tried to tell us.
He may even caused what he thought was going to be a minimal leak that maybe got out of control to draw attention to it.
Well, once the American media caught wind of it, that was it.
Yeah, but they still were lying.
Oh yeah, but here's the thing, and then this is another theory that I have. Whether you like the current president or not, the stocks were really high. People were making money. Now, this could be on our side of things, since people hate him so much. Maybe they wanted to crash the market, especially near election, or since what he did to China, and he crashed China's money-making schemes with bringing all of the American business over there. Maybe they released it knowing that our media would get crazy with it and crash the American market. Obviously now it's the global market.
You know why I don't buy that so much? Tell you why.
You see? There's that etiquette of coughing.
Exactly. Very well done. The Chinese market tanked even more when this happened.
Okay.
Their market.
Oh, yeah, no,
Okay.
that's big.
They literally, for them to do that on purpose, they would have literally been cutting their own throats.
Pretty much.
Okay? And they don't have enough of a problem with Trump to cut their own throats.
But you know
The
the funny
people
thing?
in power. The people in power.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Here's what I really believe. I believe the only reason why we started getting true data out of China, that the CDC here is able to actually work with and come up with stuff so fast, is I think the president of China, because he went to Wuhan, right?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I saw the news.
He did his, I'm not afraid, I'm walking through, it's all good, it's getting better.
It was probably a clone at that point.
Yeah, or a
You
dumb
know what I mean?
actor.
If the clone fucking dies, who gives a shit, right?
Or an actor.
Yeah, or an actor like Saddam used to have, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I actually think what the president of China did, looking at how Trump reacts to things sometimes, I think he made the conscious decision, all right, at this point, we got to start coming clean with the Americans or this is going to be really bad for us because this guy is not going to let us off the hook.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay? Because they know it. You know, one thing, people can say all they want about President Trump, okay? But if you really watch and pay attention to what's going on, like if all you listen is to the, what I'm going to call the left-leaning mainstream media.
Yeah, one-sided.
Oh, horribly one-sided, and, he's bad about everything. I mean, Bernie Sanders just came out.
He just had
yesterday?
that. Yeah, he was talking all this crap, right?
Or today. He started, like, the first, probably like 8 minutes of his speech was
Bashing.
all the names he called Trump. All the names, all the bad stuff. Homophobic, xenophobic, racist, this, that.
I saw
Even
that.
said he hated religion, all kinds of stuff.
And it's not Trump he should hate. It's his own party who's screwing him.
Oh, big time.
You know what I mean?
Big time.
So why would you even say that about? I would talk shit about everybody that's hating him and his own party trying to get Biden in,
That's what he should be talking about.
right? But that's why he's not going to go anywhere because he's arguing facts at the wrong person.
Yeah, and well, you saw it even with Clinton when Bernie was in a position to really, fight back against her. He didn't.
No.
He's not going to fight back with Biden. He's going to let him off the hook. I mean, the guy's like, listen, say what you want, but we're seeing it and hearing it with our own eyes. Even if you watch some of the, I'll call it left-leaning media, if they're covering stuff he said, there's just no way to get around it. He said it. He did it.
Yeah.
The guy doesn't know where he is. He didn't know the difference between his wife and his sister.
Oh, you're talking about Biden, right?
Yeah, Biden.
Well, what about when he was with the blue collar workers? Who was it? The PSCG guys? Was that who it was?
I'm not sure.
And he told the guy, "You're full of shit."
Did you hear the interviews with that guy afterwards?
No, I didn't go that far. I really didn't go that far.
Yeah, the guy was very reasonable, very nice, doesn't even hold it against Biden.
Yeah.
But he was simply asking him about Second Amendment rights. Now, Biden went off on that guy. You saw the whole clip, right?
The clip, I saw a bunch of different angles of clips.
Okay.
Everybody had their cell phone out.
But I don't know if you remember. I think it was after Biden won South Carolina. When was it that he embraced Beto O'Rourke?
To tell the truth,
After South Carolina, when he won, right?
yeah, because isn't Beto O'Rourke? Isn't he from South Carolina or no?
No, he's from Texas. Pretty sure
yeah, that's right. He's from Texas. Yeah. And then what was he saying? Something about he's going to put O'Rourke in charge of
like basically, you're my guy for gun control.
Gun control. Yeah, that's what I want.
The guy who has already announced that if he was president, he would take people's guns by force and everything else.
The same guy that ran over people and made a book about it, saying that he had fun running people over, right? That guy.
So, and even when, if you really pay attention, anybody who follow Second Amendment issues at all, like I do. Obviously, I'm still,
This is my thing with the Second Amendment. Either every single person should be allowed to carry a gun, and wherever you go, nobody knows who has the bigger gun, so everybody's going to be nice. And if there is a shooter, let's say somebody comes in on us right now, and they have a gun, and me and you both have guns.
Right.
I think that guy's going to think twice, knowing that one of us may have a gun, and one of us may have a bigger gun than he's got. And I think everybody will be nice. You ever go to a state that has Second Amendment rights?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's nice. You bump into somebody.
And so sorry. Pardon me. Excuse me.
Exactly. Because listen, grandma could be carrying a
and
fucking
everybody's
Uzi.
like, sir and ma'am.
Exactly, right? You come here in Jersey over here, man, bump into somebody and they want to throw hands, if not stab you.
Well, I'll give you an example. Quick example of that. Chicago. Strongest gun laws in the U.S.
Everybody's dying.
1,550 people, I think, so far. Okay? Maine. They passed concealed carry, no permits, no restrictions, whatever you want.
Right?
Lowest crime rate anywhere.
Well, in California, up in the mountains somewhere, there's a town that passed conceal and carry. Zero
Crime.
Zero crime. Because people think twice. You wouldn't go to a place where everybody's got a fucking gun.
It's a deterrent. Listen, the only people... Well, I'll put it to you this way. Like, what do these politicians think? Are they really so stupid, or think we're so stupid?
I think it's all about control.
That it's obviously control, but do they think we're all so stupid to believe that the criminals are going to follow the gun laws they have when they're not following them already? There's gun laws in place all over the place.
Listen, even people following gun laws have shit that they're not supposed to have. But you know what? They're not going to go out and take it to the gun range. You know what I mean? It's in case shit happens. Then they'll pull it out of the fucking attic or wherever they got it. You know what I mean? And protect themselves.
Exactly. And listen, you said it. 30 years, man. I was responding to calls of everything. Personally, I wouldn't advise anybody to wait for the police.
Oh, it's big time.
You got an intruder in your house, you're going to have to deal with it.
Oh, I know. Well, typically, back then, how long did it take you to get to somebody's house? Let's say if you were at precinct.
It depends what part of town.
Let's say last part of town, end of town, tip of the iceberg.
Best case scenario, you're probably talking 3 to 5 minutes.
And that's with no traffic, nobody in the way.
That's with no traffic, nobody in the way, and going balls to the wall.
Now, between 3 and 5 minutes.
At best.
What do you think can happen in those 3 and 5 minutes?
Average psychopath could probably kill 12 people if they're in close proximity.
There you go. See?
And that's with a knife.
Oh, yeah. With a gun, forget about it.
Exactly. These schmucks out there with these stuff about high-capacity magazine.
It
doesn't matter. I mean, what's the difference if I have one magazine that holds 30 rounds, okay, for, say, a rifle?
Or you got 20 of them.
Or I have...
That holds 10.
10-round magazines.
And nobody understands this, but I say this a lot, and I say that the average gun owner practices a lot more than, say, the average officer.
Oh, sure, because I can tell you for a fact. I mean, I was a firearms instructor for almost the entire time I was there, okay? For most weapons, handguns, the qualification process is mandatory 2 times a year.
No, this is for an officer.
For an officer.
Okay. And
mandatory qualification with a handgun, twice a year.
So they never have to go to the shooting range?
No.
Only 2 times a year?
Where the department oversees.
Overseas, okay.
Okay. Now, there's different agencies that do different things. I remember towns that years ago, more towns had ranges of their own. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Edison did, shut down.
You mean in precinct?
In precinct.
Okay.
All shut down. All because of EPA regulations. They found out all kinds of stuff.
You're huffing
about the air quality and lead in the air and this and that. But basically, for what the department oversees and has to record and to prove that you're still competent to carry your gun on duty, talking 2 qualifications a year. Twice.
Okay.
Now, some encourage, some not even so much anymore because of the money, but years ago, certain departments used to give a guy a number of rounds a month
And go practice.
to practice on your own if you want to.
Yeah. Now, here's another thing. 4 days on, 4 days off. Mm-hmm. Now, let's say, depending if you're night shift and you don't sleep, those 4 days that you're off, do you really want to go to the shooting range?
Probably not.
And not a lot of people do. And this is what I was literally arguing with people about this before. And I'm like, the average gun owner probably, if they're really adamant about it, every weekend to every other weekend will go out there with friends, even family, or just by themselves, hang out and join a club, and they will shoot to heart's content, and they will become maybe not sharpshooters, but good enough to be able to take out any perp. And this is why I say that law-abiding citizens, if they're really good, whether you make it the 30 round, like you said, or even 10 rounds, mm-hmm. and they have, a couple magazines on them,
right? They
can flip them in and out, especially if they practiced, and go through 40, 50 rounds without even having a big magazine.
The magazine capacity is actually meaningless. I mean, I don't know if you remember, even with Joe Biden when he was arguing with the blue-collar worker.
The AR-14?
The AR-14. He's arguing to the guy that, basically he's trying to compare that to a fully automatic machine gun, saying, oh, well, nobody wants to take your shotgun. Nobody wants to do this. He's trying to say he's pro-Second Amendment.
Yeah, but nobody's allowed to have an automatic.
Right. Okay. That's already.
But the guy told him that.
The guy even told him.
Yeah,
that.
He explained that to him.
But he's still trying to say an assault weapon, which, by the way, you realize this is a farce.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. This term, you tell me.
The AR was the name of the company, wasn't it? I forgot what the AR stands for again.
Oh.
Something rifle? No. Armalite?
Armalite, maybe? I don't know. I don't remember.
Armalite something. Yeah. I got to look it up.
So long.
Armalite something. I'm sure somebody will tell us.
Plus, so many different companies make that style of weapon.
Exactly.
But to call it an assault weapon, first of all, if I take this cup of coffee and turn it and poke you in the eye with the bottom of the cup,
it's an assault.
Is it assault coffee?
That's
because I just assaulted you with it.
Well, here's the thing. The funny thing I always mention about is in England, you're not allowed to carry a knife. Right?
Okay.
Now try telling that to somebody that's carrying a knife, and they mug you. Not even the police are allowed to have guns, I think. What do they have, clubs?
Well, things are changing a bit. For the longest time,
I hope so. Well, that new guy just went in there, right?
Their rule, you know what their rule was?
Version of Trump.
You know what their rule was? Yeah, Boris.
Boris, yeah.
Their rule had to touch you until you're under arrest in England, and you had to submit. That's what their rules were. I
think the bouncers at the clubs out there were more of a threat than the cops are.
Exactly. Now, don't get me wrong. I haven't been in a while, but I did some traveling in Europe a few years back, and you were starting to see the changes in France and even England, where they have
no-go zones.
You don't really see it out in the front so much. But they have guys loaded up with full weapons and all kinds of stuff around.
Well, just in case, you never know.
The ones that are unarmed will go, hey, calm down over there and knock it off. Mm-hmm. If something bad's going down, they say, get over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They should have that. But you know what another thing is, man? A lot of people are crossing into different countries and whatnot, and they're not following the rules of the country. Take an American. They go to, what was that guy's name who recently just passed away from coming back from North Korea? Otto something?
Otto Warmbier.
Okay. Now, number one, why in the flying fuck would you ever go to North Korea?
I don't know.
And number two, why would you try to steal something while in North Korea? I mean, you should understand.
I don't know why you would want to fart in North Korea.
That's what I'm saying. You look at somebody.
You know they're going to violate your rights some way or somehow.
You're going to fucking die. And I think a lot of people, even by me when I went to Mexico, a lot of Americans, the way they acted really irked me, because I feel like you're in another country. Show them some respect. Show the people that are working their respect. Don't think that the American passport is going to save you in another country.
That's right there. That's the same. The same reason behind that is the same reason we have Americans panicking and doing stupid shit here. Okay?
Like buying out toilet paper, because that's gonna fucking feed them, when there's no more fucking food.
Not only buying toilet paper, but Okay, I heard that you mentioned the guy taking his daughter to dance or whatever.
Yeah.
That guy knew.
You think he knew?
No, I know he knew.
Okay.
Okay?
He knew that
I
he
got
had
a
the
report.
virus?
Yes,
Okay.
he knew.
I mean, he confessed it.
Yes.
Okay.
And he decided it was more important to take his daughter to that dance.
Listen, I understand doing things for your kids, but then don't put everybody else in fucking harm's way. Thank you for that etiquette. But you know what I mean? Like, listen. Right now,
What's going through your head? Listen, everybody can have a, kind of a lapse in judgment. But if you know what's going on, you know you have got this virus. No way. It's your obligation to humanity.
listen, move the couch in your fucking living room, put on some music, and dance with your daughter in your goddamn living room.
Yeah, and have mommy film it.
Exactly. Don't go and put other people in harm's way. Because now you're destroying somebody else's family. Because let's say if you survive and your family survives, but yet you kill somebody else's family, would they consider that a type of manslaughter at that point?
They could. I mean, they had a bump up. Remember when AIDS originally developed?
Yeah.
An offshoot of that was some laws were being propped up there, where
If you would willingly have sex with
if you were
somebody,
knowingly doing that, it's a crime.
Well, that's what the thing I said. I said there's people out there that have AIDS, are knowingly having sex with it, and they expect people to stay in their homes while having this virus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane how we've changed so much to act bad towards other people. It's almost like we don't have any more family values, and we don't have any more respect towards other people. Like if I see my neighbor's garbage outside and it's blowing in the wind, I'll go get it. I'll go put it
Right.
up to his house, or at least fix it for him. You know what I mean? Where people, they don't give a shit. They'll just roll right past it.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? It's not my garbage can. You know?
Well, I mean, I guess because of a lot of different factors, communities are not the same
They're not
as
the
they
same.
once were.
No.
They're not.
And you
Part
have
of that-
both parents that are working.
That's number one, okay? Once you took one of the parents away from the home, raising the kids and being there directly and watching and having the eyes and ears of the neighborhood,
Yeah.
okay? And I'm not going to tip off my age by making a sexist comment like the woman would have been in the home. I'm not going to say that, okay?
We'll scratch that from the record.
One of the parents would have been in the home until they were forced to both work.
Yeah. Well, I feel like once the government saw that both parents can work, they just went with it. And now, with all these high taxes, like depending on where you live in the country, obviously other states have less taxes than say where we live. But a lot of people, if two people don't work over here, it's very hard to survive.
All right, here's where I'm going to get into my devious thought process.
Go with it.
Okay, as far as that, when you talk about that, I believe, okay, that systematically our government, over a long period of time, was creating an environment deliberately where the population would become more dependent on the government.
On them, yeah.
In other words, doing everything they possibly could behind our backs with our votes to screw us.
Well,
Okay?
with the vote, they tell us something.
To the point of even creating a situation in America where mom and dad were both forced to work.
Yeah.
Okay? Where before they weren't.
And I feel like they can control your kids more like that. Because
Absolutely
Now
they
the
can.
kid goes to school. Some guy.
First of all, they're not only just in school. Now you
TV.
got to have daycare.
Yep.
You got to have the after-school programs. You got to have other programs to accommodate.
and you
both
pay
parents
for all
working.
that. Now, hear me out. My wife's cousin lives in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
They give her 2 years, no work. Right? I think they even maybe pay her a little bit, and they get free childcare if needed. Like somebody comes to the house, watches the kid and whatnot. If you have to work.
So maternity leave is 2 years?
2 years. So and to your kids too. And they give you the option whether to go back or not. I mean, you can take a little longer if need be, so to say.
But if you opt not to go back, then your job is done.
That I'm not 100% off. I mean, I'd have to do some more research on that. But I know definitely 2 years. And then her son is the same age as my son, right? 3. And now she's back at work, and obviously he goes to school and whatnot. But 2 years, my wife's smacking herself in the head. She's like, my God, I wish I could have that.
So basically what they're doing is encouraging her to start raising her child
Exactly.
without having to have assistance or interference by the government at all.
Pretty much. Which to me, I think is a good thing, and I think it shows more family values. I think you as a mother, more mother so to say than father at that point, raise your child to a certain age of understanding,
right?
So that the kid knows at least 3 years old. Like my son knows at 3 years old what's good and bad. If he's bad, he knows that he did something bad. I give him crazy eyes. You know what I mean? And he's
right.
like, it's like, oh, you did something bad, buddy.
Right.
Exactly. But here, other people raise your children. I'm not saying this is for everybody.
Right.
But for the majority, you guys can chime in if you want. A lot of people are forced to allow other people to raise their child. And if certain families don't have that luxury where one parent can stay home, or even if you have a grandparent that can stay home, or like say an older sibling to watch the child type of thing, you kind of get screwed. And I know a lot of parents, they might not show it too much to the front, but deep down it probably bothers them.
Yeah, that's you know what? It's funny you say that, because I think that point you just hit on, the part that it bothers them that they're not fully raising their kids, creates parental guilt.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which creates spoiled children.
Yeah, because then you go out, hey, let's go buy you stuff. You know what I mean? I'm sorry I wasn't there, but here's your Hot Wheels and whatever.
That, I believe, is a major cause of parents losing the ability to say no.
Yeah, because then they feel bad. They feel bad that as a parent they're not there, and they want to give their kids something to love them for, and it's a materialistic love at that point. It's not a true, like, hey, you showed me how to ride a bike, I love you, or you just bought me that bike, but my nanny taught me how to ride it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like, in a weird place in life, because now I have grandchildren, and like, I know how I raised my children, and I know how I was raised.
But now, you can't raise them like that today.
Believe me, I didn't even raise my kids the way I was raised.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
But you can't.
But I remember what I used to tell my kids all the time, which they didn't like, but they got over it and they saw the reason for it. Simply this: when they would say, I want to do something that I didn't think they should do, they would, of course, like all kids do, throw back at you.
Yeah.
But
what ages is this? What ages?
Like preteen or early teen, even. They'd always throw back. Oh, but so-and-so's mom or dad said it's okay.
Go live with them.
I said, then so-and-so can do it, but you can't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what they say. It's their child. They have the right to say what they want. Okay?
Well, pack your fucking bags and go live with so-and-so.
Well,
you know what I mean?
No, my kids turned out good, and hopefully my grandkids will do all right. I just got to keep an eye on the schools.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, listen, I personally feel like private school compared to public school, even though you got to pay for it, especially out of your ass for it, I think it maybe not crazy education-wise, but I feel like it gives your child more of a respect. Like the place where I send my son, it's a lot of people's mothers that are teachers.
Okay.
Their kids go there. It's a close-knit family. It's a religious school. I'm not crazy religious, but it's a religious school. And I just feel like it's more of a close family type of feeling. So like when I go there and I see the other mothers or fathers that work there, and they watch your children and they watch their children, and everybody plays.
They look out for each other.
Exactly. And I feel comfortable. Like I can go to work knowing that there's somebody there that's actually watching my child correctly. you know. And then I remember even when I was in high school, you know, and then I see kids now that are in high school and the way they're treated. I mean, listen, even local over here, I know a janitor at a place, and he tells me, man, he's going into his janitorial closet, and there's like 10 to 13-year-olds having threesomes, blowing each other.
Oh, stop.
Dude, yeah, I'm telling you, man, doing some crazy stuff. And I'm like, for real? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, that's fucked up, man. I was like, yeah, my kid's not going there, you know? And the funny thing is, my kid's 3, and I'm sending him to a local Brazilian jiu-jitsu place.
Okay.
All right, and we go together 2 nights a week, and we bond, right? The place is awesome. And I like it. I like it a lot. He likes it, you know, and I feel as a boy, it's good because I want him to learn self-defense and just in case something happens. But I feel the jiu-jitsu, it's good for girls, I think. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you why. Yeah, if you're all about the kung fu, karate, and taekwondo and everything else, that's good, right? If you're on your feet and you can kick and punch and take them out, no problem. But the majority of, say, females can get taken down by a male. And whether they're going to get mugged, they're going to get, you know, raped, molested type of thing. When you're on the ground and you know a technique to handle yourself on the ground, I think that plays a big role. And especially a big guy thinking that he's going to take down a girl that doesn't know what they're doing, and all of a sudden he gets put in his place.
Well, I can tell you from experience and training, okay, most size differences go away when it's down on the ground.
Oh, big time.
You know, standing toe-to-toe can make a big difference. On the ground, not so much.
No, because you're all the same size on the ground.
I remember, and this is going back a ways, my daughter, who's older than my son, a little bit, they were both going to like a karate school years ago, you know, because I thought it was good for both of them, you know, the discipline, the whole shebang. And there was a little boy, a little bigger than my daughter, and he wasn't doing so well against my daughter.
I think you told me this story before a long time ago.
Okay, and it turns out that the kid's father came from a culture, I don't remember which one, doesn't even really matter, where his belief was women shouldn't even be doing this. Literally. He got offended.
And this was martial arts class.
Martial arts, that his son was being made to look foolish, I guess, by my daughter.
Okay.
So he started to tell me, like, about this, like where he's from. And I ended up pulling him aside and saying, "Listen, buddy, okay, listen up. You're in America.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you think my daughter is whipping your son's ass, keep that shit up. Watch what I do to you."
Yeah, see? Got to tell people,
right
man.
there,
put people in a place.
that was the end of it. He knocked it off. I think he took his kid out of the class.
Yeah.
Because they had girls in there. Yeah, that's his right. But
Hey,
don't
man,
come in here and try to say, don't come in here and try to tell me that my daughter can't be here. No.
My whole thing is this. If you want to do it, you should be able to try to do it. You know what I mean? If you do it and you can't, you really don't want to, then that's fine. It's your choice. But if you strive to do it, no matter if you're a boy or girl, whatever, do it. And if you like it, continue it.
I used to tell both my kids all the time, like, because, kids go through fads. They want to try this. They want to try that.
Yeah, I know. They try
sports, not. I tell both my kids, you could try and you could do whatever you want, okay? Anything, I'll support you, 100%. But if you make a commitment, like to a sport team, you're at least finishing out the season. You're not quitting.
Midway, yeah.
Midway.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to finish out that commitment. You don't want to come back next year, that's fine. But you're going to finish it out. So just think carefully. Do you want to start? Because you're going to at least do a season of it.
Yeah.
And they were pretty good with it.
Seasons aren't even that long, though. Huh? You know what I mean? If you can't handle a season.
Nah.
Well, this is another thing why I want my son to... obviously, it's daddy son time, quality time with my son, and we get to do fun stuff. And like I said, the teacher's great with kids. He's awesome. He takes all the kids one by one. He teaches them, and then if there's a lot of kids there, then we all get on the mat, the parents, and then we fight with the kids, so to say, and we do the training. But if there's not a lot of kids there, he does one-on-one with each kid. So like last night we went, there was 2 kids, my son and another kid, kid, and I didn't have to get. I sat on the mat next to my kid just to make sure he's normal, stuff like that. It doesn't get crazy, and I didn't have to do nothing. Teacher did everything with both kids, and I was thinking that obviously, listen, you want your son or daughter to do good in sports and whatnot later on if they want to do something, and I'm like, maybe if he wants to get into wrestling, this martial art will help him out.
Couldn't hurt.
You know what I mean?
Couldn't hurt.
At least he'll have some technique in there, right? They won't know what hit him.
You know what I think is, I think one of the things that I see with kids nowadays is this mentality that everyone's a winner all the time at everything. Like I know when I was young, you wanted to be on a team, you had to have tryouts.
Listen, you had to really work
to make the team.
Exactly.
Okay? You weren't entitled to be on the team. You weren't entitled to anything except a shot like everybody else to make the team.
Oh, big time, big time. You know who actually portrays the entitlement today? Those Hollywood people that got their kids into fancy colleges.
Oh, yes.
Right? That's something along the lines of what people have done for sports teams and whatnot.
We could talk about that for hours and hours.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, when it's time for my son to, if he wants, or even my daughter, to go into school and want to do a sport, I'm going to pull the coach, the teacher, whoever it is to the side, and I'm going to say, listen, if my kids don't come in first, second, or third, don't praise them. Don't give them shit. I said, you can tell them, hey, good effort, good for trying, but don't give them a fucking trophy for coming in last. Because I want my son to come home and I want him to feel and know what it's like to fail, because that's going to make him strive. If he's into it and he's about it, that's going to make him strive, or her strive, to do better next time, to win. Competition.
Concept is great. Absolutely fantastic. I don't think you're going to have much luck getting anybody to get on board in anything that's organized.
That's the problem.
Like a lot of that you're going to have to do on your own. I mean, your kids are still pretty
little, yeah. So I tell them all the time.
You have time. You and your wife have time to do this.
Instill that into them.
Because that's where you got to do it. Because, believe me, as far as I'm concerned, and I would say this for anybody to hear, why this current president hasn't already undone some of the damage to our education system is beyond me.
Yeah.
Okay? Because everybody has got to know already, our children in this country, when I say our children, all of them, from kindergarten through college, are being brainwashed.
Big time.
Brainwashed. They're losing respect for their country, for their parents, for their community, you name it. They're losing respect for everything. They just want.
Well, even for the teachers. You see that one kid that threw the 90 or 70-year-old teacher around because he took off his hat or something? As a student in class, if I saw that happen, I probably would have taken that kid out. Back in the day, man, if that happened, you get your ass beat, man, for beating up old Mr. So-and-so. You know what I mean? Like, why would you do that to an old man? It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy how kids act these days.
The respect, I pretty much break it down into two things, okay? The lack of respect is partially what the job is they're doing in the schools, or I should say not doing in the schools, okay? And parents, young parents, who out of guilt don't say no, okay?
But
listen, I talk to a lot of people a lot of times about kids, okay? Because over the course of the years, I dealt with so many kid problems of all kinds and everything. Because my goal was to intervene as soon as possible, get the earliest involvement, so you don't have to deal with me.
Pretty much.
Because pretty much, if I got to take you out of your house, it's already bad. Okay?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I don't want that.
I hear you, man.
And you don't want that.
I say that all the time. Listen, if I have to go to the parents' house and talk to them direct, it's going to be bad.
But really, what is... But adversity builds character. I think that's one of those things I used to hear, from my parents. It's like probably something that came out of my father's mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Adversity builds character. It's true. You don't learn to overcome if there's never an obstacle.
That's what I'm saying. The failure teaches you.
Absolutely.
You know, and here's another thing with other parents though, and I see this in a lot of Asian cultures. The kid could be a monster in reality, but the parents, in their eyes, they see an angel. I've seen it. Listen, I have a lot of friends grown up. I have a lot of Indian friends. I have a lot of Asian friends, China, Burmese, Pakistani, and everything like that. And I've hung out with these kids before. And listen, I've been crazy too. Don't think that old Venture over here wasn't crazy kid growing up. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I remember I used to get tickets a lot, right? Or speeding and stuff, going crazy. But if the kids did something wrong, the parents were blinded to it. Oh, not my son. Oh, not my daughter.
No, that's
You know
horrible.
what I mean?
That's horrible.
And it's like, yes.
That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing a parent can do.
Like I have some customers where kids were driving a Porsche Cayenne, and the car was towed in overnight. I get in the car. As soon as I open up the door, all I saw was bottles of Hennessy laying around. And I'm talking about this car smelled like a wino. The kid comes in the next day, right? Shot out. And I'm like, man, what happened? What happened to the car? This car was destroyed.
Okay.
Right? They totaled this car out. There wasn't a rim left on the car, a tire, nothing. And what happened was, in a Porsche Cayenne, it's not that big if you know what the car is. I think there was maybe like 7 people in it, right? 7 people in this car, yeah. And they're all drinking.
They're cramped.
Cramped and drinking.
Yes.
And the driver, from what I gather, turned around and was taking a sip while they were going in New Jersey. They have the exit ramps or on ramps to get on the highways, and it was a little higher than the highway. And instead of going around the ramp, he went right off the ramp, and it had to be maybe like a 30-foot drop. Not that big, maybe like a 20-foot drop. Destroyed the car. 2 people did get hurt, but not as bad as you would think. They didn't go to hospital or nothing like that. And nobody went to the hospital. And I was amazed that this kid didn't get arrested. And a week later, father comes in, talks to me. Oh, my son crashed the car, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't know a goddamn thing that happened.
Right.
And what does the kid show up with 2 days later?
Brand new car.
Brand spanking new BMW M3.
Could have told you.
You know what I mean? And here I am, man, all right, driving my 93 Jeep Wrangler at the time. I'm like, Jesus Christ. You know? And that's what it is. Listen, I was always held accountable. If I did something wrong, I would tell my parents, listen, Mom, Dad, I did this. I catch my ass beating, you know what I mean? Or my tongue lashing, whatever was coming out at that time, whatever age I was. And I'd honor up to what I did, you know? At the point where I got of age where I could handle it myself. You know, if I got a big ticket and I paid for it myself, I did the crime, I do the time type thing.
Yeah, then you don't have to squeal on yourself.
Then I don't have to squeal on myself, exactly. You know, and then later on, 10 years later, if he finds out and he yells at me anyway, I'm just like, all right, bring on the screaming. Let me just hear it. It's over. It's 10 years later, but let me just hear the yelling.
When I grew up, it was a pretty simple formula. There was right and wrong. There was consequences of doing wrong. It was my choice.
Oh, yeah.
It's always your choice.
Oh, yeah, you know. Listen, you know, if you get caught, shit's going to happen, especially back in the day.
But having that basic foundation of knowing there's consequences, that's the important part that's been missing. Knowing there's consequences, well, that's
hinders
how
you a little bit.
Young people, they used to take, I'll call it, little steps in directions. Okay, you try a little of this. You don't do too much, because if I do too much, it could be real bad. I could get in trouble.
Exactly.
All right. Once you remove that fear of consequence, it's all about what do I want? When do I want? I mean, for example, the triplet granddaughters. Okay.
Okay.
They're going to be.
You heard that right? Triplet granddaughters.
They're going to be 3. Okay. Well, I'm going to do the same thing.
Are they a little crazy? Are they crazy like my daughter?
2 of them are complete
off the wall.
Okay.
Like you have Spider-Man in the house, right? Exactly. That's exactly how my daughter is.
Okay. They're going to be 3 in June. Okay. You know what they already know how to do?
Open doors?
No. Lie.
Oh, really?
Of course they do. Like all kids. You really think back, both your kids, when they were at that stage where they could toddle around and say a few words even. If you saw something that they had to do Because let's face it, they don't realize that, we don't have to be detectives.
Yeah.
If you were the only one in the room, you did it.
Yeah, it's like
Okay?
they broke the vase or the light or something.
But for the most part,
The dog did it.
did you do that? No.
We don't have a dog.
Did you do that? No. They know to do that.
Yeah.
Because why? Even in their young minds, they recognized, okay, that just by your facial expression or whatever of doing something, them doing something that you didn't really approve of, they register that. So they know, to them, that's a consequence.
Yeah.
Mommy or daddy is not going to like that I did that, so I can't say I did it. But they know.
Pretty much. Well, that's another thing why I had another customer tell me one time, I think she worked for Montessori, that I always tell her, my kids act like angels with other people. And she told me the reason they act like angels with other people is because they don't know how those people are going to react if they do something bad, if they love them or not.
Almost all children are like that.
Exactly. So they know that they could scratch my car, break my TV, and daddy will scream and yell, but he'll always love me. You know what I mean? So they understand that. But let's just say if I let you take my son and he broke your TV and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. And he's all like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Because, I mean, people, I guess, you know, the sad part to me, this is what really hurts me the most of what I see. In this country, overall, the education system is ruining our children.
Oh, yeah.
Because children have everything it takes in them, everything it takes to be good people. They're just smaller. They have it. They got to work on developing some of it and moving along.
Yeah.
When they get to school, school used to be the place that you already had a basis from your parents on how to be a good kid, respectful kid, one who wants to learn. Then the school used to take them in and reinforce some of those principles of respect for your classmates, for your teachers, for the property, for, your lessons, okay? And that you're there to learn. And they made it between, there was like, I guess, a fine balance between the discipline that's necessary to keep, them from going wild as they're going along, and interesting so that they don't mind sitting there for whatever period of time behaving themselves, because they're learning and enjoying what they're learning, because it's new to them. Little kids are like sponges.
Oh, yeah.
They want to take in as much as they can.
Oh, I think the other day he heard somebody say jerk off, and he knew the context of using it. And I think I was teasing him a little bit, and he goes like, Dad, why are you being such a jerk off?
Oh my!
I'm like, what did you just say? You know what I mean? He's like, he knew he said something bad. I'm like, that's a bad word. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, you better be sorry.
See, in my day,
you catch an ass kicking.
well, we knew a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. We knew
said it.
We didn't say it.
Yeah,
we didn't dare say it.
I know.
We might be out in the street with our friends, out of sight, and say it to each other.
But here's the funny thing: even back in the day, out in the street, if somebody else's parent heard you say it,
oh, you were done.
They would discipline you. You know what I mean? They'd be like, hey, I'm going to tell your mother, or they scream and yell at you.
Or scream at you direct.
You can't do that today. God forbid.
Yeah.
You yell at somebody like a neighbor's kid. Let's say he's doing something really stupid.
They call the cops.
Not even they'll call the cops. They'll tell mom and dad, and mom and dad comes to your house and is like, why'd you yell at my kid? Well, maybe if your kid wasn't being a fucking idiot, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have to yell at him. But
probably
nobody does that anymore.
Probably wouldn't come to my house. They'd probably call the cops.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But then here's another thing then. You also got to worry about DIFUS.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, sometimes, my son acts like an animal and he jumps around and he hurts his shins. He gets like little black and blue marks. I'm like, shit, man, I don't want this kid going to school. And then the teacher's like, what happened to your legs? And all of a sudden they got DIFUS coming to my house. And I'm like, DIFUS, why don't you sit down on that couch and just watch fucking Jimmy Snooker fly over here come off the fucking couches and see what happens. That's exactly what I'd say to the guy.
You would think not, but what if Max thinks he's going to get in trouble for saying I did it, and he goes, Daddy did it.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Daddy hit me.
Daddy did it.
I'm like, oh, you know what? Just take me away now, man, because I already know the kid's gonna say some shit. That's what it is, man. Listen, I've had friends that it's happened to, and it's not pretty. You know, not pretty. No. Even if they don't do something, all the kid got to tell the teacher is, "Daddy hit me," and it's like, boop 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 boop. Dials right up, man. Dyfus at your door. Next day, living with you. I think a long time ago, I had a distant aunt where Dyfus must have came to the house, and I think she told him to hold on for 1 second. She packed the kids' bags, opened the door, pushed the 3 boys out with their bags, and said, "I'll see you in a little while." Closed the door and never looked back. And sure enough, about 2 hours later, they brought back the kids. "We're so sorry, ma'am." But this was like in the 80s, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Things used to be different.
Exactly. 80s, like early 90s.
I mean,
now.
really, I got to tell you, back when I started, you know.
You can get away with a lot of stuff.
No, but also if we had to get Dyfus involved for something, that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't come out for nonsense.
No.
You know, like now, you got kids calling Dyfus direct. "Oh, my mom said I can't do this."
Well, that's the joke I have with my son, right? If he ever says that to me, I'm going to say, "Listen, if you can make it to that phone before I make it to you to call anybody," I said, "be my guest. You know, then whoever you get on the phone with can come here." I said, "Otherwise, don't fucking try it, man." That's all I'm going to say. But you know, listen, I have a good relationship with my kids, man. I'm not I yell when I have to yell, but they understand that I'm yelling because I have to yell.
Right.
I'm not just coming home, you know, if like say from a bar drunk or anything like that, and just screaming and yelling for nothing. It's like, you know, number one, I don't drink. Number two, you know, if I have to discipline them, you have to discipline them. You can't let the kid just do something and you look at them like, no, because then they grow up like that, thinking that they can do whatever the hell they want and nobody's going to say no to them. And that's bad too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't know. I think we got to do something about our education system because
well, yeah, that's
it's destroying our youth.
Well, what about this Common Core math? If my son comes home or daughter with the Common Core math, I'm not going to know what the fuck to do. I'm going to say, "Look, man, 2 + 2 is 4. That's it. You don't got to do an equation to figure that out."
The 9-year-old, or because we pick her up, like, you know, sometimes in, you know, after school.
Public school.
Yeah, but it's a pretty good one.
Okay. It depends on what town, I guess.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good one. But some of her math stuff that comes out, listen, I got to tell you, okay, I was never great in math to begin with. Okay, that was not my forte. However, I learned over the years how to get by and do what I got to do. Like, I did all right even with my kids.
You know how you get really good at math? Working at a gas station, counting money. It's quick.
Really?
You have to be. Because, you know, listen, now everybody has credit card. But back when I was doing it, everybody had cash.
Right.
So, you stop at, say, 11 something and they give you a 20. You got to figure out what to do to make the change. And you got to do it quick. I watch the kids today, and, you know, the kids that we have working there and stuff, and they're like, whipping out calculators. It's like, come on, man. Do it quick in your mind. And boom, 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 get the customer out of here. So, now, still, it's the same thing. But counting money will at least normal arithmetic. I'm not saying you got to multiply and stuff like that. Just normal math to get you by will help you out.
Here's a little, I'll call it, I don't know, a little devilish humor at the expense of some young people.
Okay.
Because I started to find, okay, this has been going on for a little while, in like convenience stores or wherever it is, the young people are not good at making change.
No.
They're really not.
No.
So what I would do is deliberately, like, whatever, and I just did it to a girl. I just did it like
give them exact change once over and they don't know what to do with it?
No. What I do is I'll like set it up so, like, in reality, I want $5 change. I want a $5 bill.
Yeah.
Okay? So I just did it to a girl, and then I told her afterwards. I actually told her before because I didn't have the heart to do it to her.
Yeah. But
I told her I used to do it on purpose for a while because I saw that kids just couldn't make change. It was like 10.65. So I gave her a 20. No, was it 15? Yeah, I think it was 15. 15.65. So I gave her a 20 and a single. And I looked at her look on her face.
Yeah.
Because she was going to hand me back the single. Because she knew enough to know she could get it out of her 20.
Yeah, exactly.
I said, no, I'd like a 5 back, please.
Yeah, with the rest of the change.
And she goes, oh, okay, I could do that.
Yeah.
And I said, I almost feel bad. Because I really did want a $5 bill. Okay? But for a while, I was doing that on purpose. To young people, just to see who could, come on. They couldn't do it.
They can't. No, a lot of people whip out calculators. I saw one kid, forgot where it was, where he told me one moment, and he takes out his cell phone. And I'm like, look, man, the point of sale computer does it for you. Just type in what I gave you, and it'll tell you how much to give me. You know, but they see the 20, they see the 10.
They punch the button too fast.
Yeah, they punch the button too fast, man. It's like, boop, boop,
once
boop.
they got it punched in, then they're screwed.
I know.
Like, uh-oh, what now? What now?
The drawer opens up, and then they're thinking they're going to get fired because they gave a wrong change. And it's like, you know what, man, just forget
the tally's going to be wrong at the end of the day by 72 cents.
Exactly. But hey, listen, that's the kind of games, us old guys can play with the younger generation and get away with it. You know? So that's...
She was good about it. No, so anyway... Key elements, distance, polite coughing and sneezing.
Exactly.
Surfaces, hand washing. And it's not just hand washing, hand sanitizing, so you don't dry it out.
20 seconds. 20 to 30 seconds hand washing.
You got to do it right.
Don't be that quick guy. You're trying to get on your date.
My point, for the most part, these are all common sense things that you should already know.
It's common
You just
sense.
have to think about it and put it together.
Listen, people don't put on condoms and have babies. Do you think they're going to wash their hands?
Not them people.
You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ, man. I hope people do. I hope people change. I hope if this virus hopefully doesn't end up being something crazy, I at least hope people continue to be, to sanitize themselves, so to speak.
Well, you know what the sad part about this country is, whenever there's, I'll call it a crisis or near crisis, okay? For the most part, and this is why, one of the reasons I firmly believe this is going to be over quicker than most people think it is.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay? This is going to not last, okay?
And then people are going to be left with hundreds of rolls of toilet paper for the year.
Exactly. And maybe they'll have to have sales. But unfortunately, Americans, we have a tendency to rise to a challenge. And then when we make it through the challenge, we're quick to revert to our old ways.
Oh, yeah. Look at 9/11. Does anybody remember 9/11 these days?
Oh, I do.
I do too. But I
do.
mean, you saw what happened then, and
And you see now.
Exactly. People. You know what it is? They forget. They forget, and that's another thing about all those people wanting to take down statues of history and whatnot. Like, if you literally walk past something and get offended, I think that's your own issue. I don't think you have to put that on somebody else.
I can't believe there's actually politicians that go along with this stuff.
Well, let me say this. I was fortunate enough to go to Poland, and not a lot of people know that Auschwitz is in Poland. All right? So if you don't know, that is where Auschwitz is, in Poland, everybody. And I was fortunate enough to go there. I saw the gate. All right, work will set you free. I saw where the people were held and lived at that time, and everything went down. And I remember there was a plaque, and it said something along the lines of, "Don't ever take this away, so that way humanity doesn't repeat itself." So now that's like somebody, say, of the Jewish faith, living somewhere close to Auschwitz, having to drive past it every day, gets offended, makes the government in Poland, whatever, tear it down. They may, who knows, they fucking build condominiums or whatever out there, okay? and then you lose the portion of history that you should remember, because once you forget about it, it repeats itself, or it may happen again.
Absolutely. That's one of those sayings, like from old people times, way beyond me.
Oh yeah,
Way beyond me.
I think the ancient people were a lot smarter than anybody is today.
How do they put it? Different variations. But it's basically, those who ignore the lessons of history are doomed to repeat it.
Exactly. That's the perfect quote, because that's usually how it is.
Just as a side note,
Yeah.
you saw the sign over at the gate?
Yeah,
Was it in German?
it was in German.
Bach, mach, frei, something like that?
Yeah, aber mach frei.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, work will set you free, so to say.
And don't ask me how I know that.
It's pretty much known. I think they have it in a bunch of movies and whatnot.
Yeah.
But can I say something? It's
Sure you can. Sure so.
it was very. I want to say I'm not saying it's a good experience. It was a good experience to be able to go there and see all of that, but it was a horrible feeling knowing what went on there and walking the same paths that people before you did. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And then just knowing what went on there, like this weird feeling comes over you. Even today, like it changed me a little bit in life, going there and just seeing that.
Well, that's a prime example, what you just said, of how our youth in this country are being brainwashed across the board. Now, I don't know why some of these politicians go along with this, okay? I can only imagine, because at times I'm a devious thinker, okay? So I guess it's from trying to sort out what criminals do for so long.
Okay.
I always look at, what their motive is and, how they come about and why they do what they do. If you really think about it, this whole takeover of the education system, implanting it with this propaganda machine, okay? This stuff of trying to erase our history. You could say what you want about these guys going back, the founders. Were they slave owners? Some of them were. Everybody agrees that slavery was a bad thing, but that was in that time. It doesn't mean because you're remembering them for being a founding father that you approve of slavery.
Yeah.
That's like a ridiculous connection to try to make. And the bottom line is, if you don't have their statue there, you can never have a conversation about, yeah, one time the guy was a founding father of this country, but he also owned slaves. That needs to be the kind of thing that's always talked about. Because guess what? If you erase all of that,
the new generation is not going to know it.
well, then you get to write whatever history you want.
Exactly. And then little by little, as the older generation that does remember it leaves, the newer generation may repeat it. Who knows? It may be somebody else.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
If nobody knew it happened,
the majority of one people might dislike the minority of another people, and then shit goes down. So,
All right, so what do we got now? We got through our basic common sense coronavirus.
Basic, yeah.
And listen, I'm not trying to minimize the seriousness of this in any way, shape, or form. But what I'm telling you is my belief right now is based, because I think this country is better equipped, okay, in a lot of ways, to handle this sort of thing than anybody else in the world. I also think whatever problems we do have, a lot of it is going to be through our own doing, not because it had to happen. It's going to be the people that aren't really paying attention, that are too arrogant to inconvenience themselves a little bit for a little while.
well, hold that thought. Talk to the people. I'm going to go help my wife real quick and bring in the stuff from the car.
Oh, okay.
I'm leaving with them.
Okay, what are we going to tell them about? Okay.
Anyway.
All right, so I personally believe, even though I think it's serious, something that needs to be taken seriously by everyone, do everything you can, do your part. I think this is going to come under control fairly quickly. I don't think it's going to get out of control like a lot of people would have, us believe. And I think panic is just, it just takes away your ability to do the simple, easy things that are so minimally inconvenient, for your own protection. And that's another thing. You can't be selfish. You have to do these common sense things to protect the people around you. Even if it's older people that are in your own family or neighbors or whatever, that may be compromised in their health. Like, how hard is it to turn your head and cough and sneeze into the crook of your arm instead of at somebody? For an example. Okay. Now, I think another thing, and believe me, I'm no doctor, I'm no scientist, but I am retired, so I do kind of pay attention to a lot of things that are going on. Although, from what I've seen and heard so far, I don't think this particular virus is directly affected by the weather itself as far as temperature or humidity. However, I think with the spring-like temperatures we're having, it's going to get people out in the open with more distance between them. Right now, people are spending more time in tightly confined spaces, or have been up to this point, because of the winter temperatures. So I don't think that the temperatures we're having are going to have a direct effect on the virus itself. But I think once people start spreading out more, because here's the bottom line. If you're standing outside and you're fully infected with this stuff, and you got a perimeter of 6 feet around you where nobody's there, if you cough and sneeze into the air, it's not going to hurt anybody. Okay? So space goes back to what I said in the beginning about distance. Okay? The more the weather turns nicer, I mean, of course, the poo-poo on that is going to be we're going into flu and allergy season anyway. But
Is it in the summertime, flu and allergy season, or is it right before the wintertime?
No, I think it's going to start kicking off now with these temperature changes.
So the warmer weather will bring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, warmer weather. Well, listen, we were going to travel. I was going to go overseas, and I don't think we are. I think we're just going to stay home.
I think you should wait it out a while.
That's what I figure. Listen, because of me, pretty much, and my autoimmune.
Why would you take a chance?
Exactly. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to, even if I fight it off, I'm just not trying to feel that respiratory type of issue, because I think that's what it is.
Why would you subject yourself to that? Why would anybody?
Yeah, pretty much. So stay home.
Except for the knuckleheads.
If your schools are closed and everything, just stay home with your family and your kids and be safe until this all blows over. What about that? I'm sure a lot of people have seen this on their Facebook. Something about some book. Well, we know The Simpsons predicted it, but...
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I just saw it.
But I think that's fake. I don't think that's real.
But the person that put it up that I saw, it was only like a little,
paragraph.
like a small paragraph.
Yeah.
Circled where I don't even know who that person is because I didn't look it up. I guess it's maybe a psychic or something. But supposedly in 2017...
They wrote a book?
No, that paragraph, I guess, I don't know, maybe it was within the book, but it was a prediction in 2017 that in 2020 specifically, a new virus would come out quickly
and go away,
spread all around, but go away just as fast as it came,
and then come back 10 years later.
10 years later.
Now, I did also read somewhere.
I didn't fact check none of that.
Well, I think somebody did. You can fact check me on this. I'm not 100%, but I did read on a Facebook post, that same post, that one of the friends of a friend did fact check it, and it came out to be false, fake news.
Wouldn't surprise me.
But then again, I didn't see Facebook remove it, so who the hell knows at this point? But I do know that The Simpsons did have that episode, and I remember that episode where all the people of the media outlets and whatnot are around the round table, because everybody's equal at that point.
Right.
And they did it. They played the fact that let's get a virus out, and I think they even stabbed the guy with a virus, and he it was NBC, I guess, got stabbed or something.
Yeah.
And he was like croaking in the middle of the floor. But from what I gather, man, The Simpsons predicted a lot of shit. They even predicted Trump.
It wasn't hard to do.
No, but I'm just saying, the way it happened was almost time traveling. Like the creators of The Simpsons have been to the future and went back.
It's quite possible.
I always thought about that. Like, what would I do if I could time travel? I'd probably go back in time.
Would you tell anybody?
Probably not. Probably not. I'd probably tell the truth, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably just go give myself the winning lotto numbers for certain times, and then that's it. But not talk to myself. Somehow just like leave a note somewhere. Like, hey, play these numbers, kid.
Yeah.
Or maybe go really back.
This is before your time, but you could probably find it without looking too hard, because I have seen it on cable periodically.
It's a movie?
Movie called The Final Countdown.
Final Countdown. It does sound familiar.
Okay. Now here's the premise. A modern, at the time, probably from the 80s, aircraft carrier, U.S. Navy,
Okay.
gets transported back in time.
That was like the Manhattan Project type thing.
No, this is just never really explained. It just happened.
I know the movie you're talking about.
Okay, gets transported back in time to right before the attack on Pearl Harbor. The Japanese planes are coming to attack Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
Okay, so the quandary is:
did they know about it already? Like they knew about Pearl Harbor before they got transferred?
Who, the Japanese?
No. The ship that got transferred back into time.
Of course they did.
So
it's a modern aircraft carrier.
So what year was it? Like 90s aircraft carrier?
Yeah, probably 80s or 90s aircraft carrier. Okay. But one aircraft carrier could have destroyed the entire Japanese fleet and their entire Air Force.
Well, jets at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. But they saw this, and for whatever reason, I'm not going to give it all away, but for whatever reason.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. I just did it the other day, too. They figured out this is...
So they figured out they were back in time.
They figured out they were back in time, and the captain of the ship...
They had to call Tom Cruise up and it's like, go do what you do, Maverick.
There was arguments about what should we do? Should we not interfere? Should we do this? That captain said,
fuck it.
It's my duty. He launched all his aircraft like he's going to wipe them out. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you what happens.
Yeah.
You'll have to see it. But the end in particular, you'd find very interesting.
It's good.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, sometimes I'm bored, man, doing nothing. Yeah. I got no videos to make for YouTube or whatnot. And then I'll watch something good.
Yeah, it's a good flick.
Good movies. It's been a long time since I've seen a good movie that you can actually sit there and watch really good. That's not mainstream. No superhero movies, stuff like that. Something like back in the day type movies, man. I miss them.
No, for the most part now, they're either making what I deem to be, it's either the comic book genre, stupid shit, or remakes of old movies.
I know, and the remakes really bug me out. And I hope the movie that they never remake is Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was bad.
But I love that movie. It's like a cult classic.
It was funny watching it.
Yeah.
Funny watching it. But it's not the kind of thing, like after it's been that long, where you would say, hey,
let's
have a remake on that.
Who would they get in it?
First of all,
The Rock.
It only worked at that time.
Dwayne Johnson. Oh yeah, obviously it only worked at that time because that was the time that you could do that kind of stuff. That's why I miss those movies.
Two things. They just recently made a remake of Midway.
Midway. I don't remember what Midway is about. I don't think I've never seen it.
The Battle of Midway in World War II.
Okay. Who was in it?
Japanese. I don't know who the newest stars because I didn't watch it yet.
Because the only thing that's coming to mind is.
But it was just recently in the movies.
Do you
it's
watch
on cable now?
Well, do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm? With Larry David?
I used to, not so much anymore.
Well, recently...
he is funny as shit.
He is funny as shit, but recently they had a show with Ted Danson doing some old-time war movie. Captain Lee, I think it is. One of the old, Civil War guys.
General Lee?
General Lee, yeah. Ted Danson is General Lee. And that's what came to mind when you were talking about Midway.
They were spoofing it, or?
It was in the Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, okay.
In the show, you know what I mean? Yeah, because obviously he's slamming his wife at that, or his ex-wife at that point, and then he punches the hell out of the, he goes to the movies with one of his buddies, and he sees the General Lee, not statue, but the cutout board, and he punches the shit out of it. So when you were talking about the Midway, man, that's the only thing that came to mind.
I just want to know one thing.
Danson.
I just want to know one thing.
Yeah.
Has anybody been able to confirm that they've seen Bernie Sanders and Larry David together, side by side at the same time?
No, but I can definitely tell you that Larry David is a lot skinnier than Bernie, because Bernie's eating good, everybody. He is the 1% that he's complaining about.
Well, Bernie's a joke, but Larry David's funny.
Well, listen, don't hate on me, man. I didn't say that. All right, you Bernie members.
Sorry, Bernie bros.
Bernie bros. Yeah. Remember, I'm neutral.
Sorry, man. I'm not.
I just, I'm a realist. I tell it how it is. That's it. That's all I do. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see what's going to happen with this virus. We're going to see what's going to happen with, I guess, this year's election. We're going to see what's going to happen with the rest of the world. Hopefully everything gets back to normal, man, where we can all be at peace again and travel around and enjoy the good times, I guess.
No, it's going to be. It's going to be. And I think, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not big into the stock market because I watch it, because almost all pension funds are invested in stock.
Is it a buyer's market now? Is that what it is?
It sure is.
Because it's definitely not a seller's market.
It sure is. Okay, if I was going to buy, now's the time to do it. Okay, right. But here's my prediction.
Buy your Apple, your Disney, your fucking Microsoft, all that shit.
Okay, let me qualify my prediction. I am not a doctor, not a scientist, not a financial wizard, none of those things. But here's my prediction. I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to get over this virus thing quick, a lot quicker than anybody believes. The market, as soon as we're complete under control on this virus, is gonna shoot through the roof. So if you're a buyer, buy now. It's good move to buy now.
Oh yeah, the buy, it probably is. Once everything goes away, I'll tell you one thing. Whoever did have money in toilet paper, stocks, Scott's or Charmin or whatever other
they're laughing all the way to
TP for your bungholes out there. Whoever had stocks in that, I'm not 100%, but from the looks of it, might be making a killing. Especially in the USA, because, prior to the current administration, the USA, in my eyes, became a warehouse for goods.
Mm-hmm. Other countries' goods.
Other countries' goods. We became a warehouse. And, hopefully that changes. And I think the virus may cause a big change in a lot of stuff not to be made in China anymore.
Well,
and possibly brought back to the USA to be made in the USA.
That's interesting that you said that, because
don't get me wrong, I'm a patriot, man. I love the country I was born in, and I would not even rather, I want to see everybody in our country do well. And if we bring back jobs, we bring back, American-made stuff here. Number one, I hope it'll be cheaper because it's made here for the current citizens, and I hope we export a lot to make a lot of money, because a lot of stuff is very expensive. Pharmaceuticals. I mean, like I said, this was another thing I wanted to get in it. Good that we got to this point. I have psoriasis. Mm-hmm. And if you guys don't know what psoriasis is, it's an autoimmune disease where, I may get rashes on my skin. So say if I get a cut, like if you can see right here in the camera, it'll just keep healing itself. And it'll turn into like patches of like scabs almost, but not really like a scab. And a lot of times you can put some cream on it, make it go away. But there was a pill, I don't want to say no names and whatnot, but there was a pill that I can take that causes me no harm, as far as like any type of cancer, any type of side effects. I may just get some diarrhea, maybe an upper respiratory infection, and And I think that's pretty much about it. Maybe some nausea type stuff, but luckily I don't have that, man. I just go to the bathroom a lot, ask my wife. But they wanted $11,000, I think, monthly for it. From what I remember, I think it could have been yearly, don't get me wrong, but still $11,000 is $11,000. So while I was talking to my insurance one time, they wanted me to get on a different drug that will cause worse side effects like cancer.
Because it's cheaper.
It's cheaper, yes. So hey, I'm going to take care of my skin lesions, but I'm going to get fucking cancer?
No.
Exactly. I'd rather deal with the the psoriatic arthritis that I have and my skin lesions, because I'm already married with kids, so not like I'm looking out for any side piece out there, okay? But a gentleman from India, customer, overheard me talking, came up to me, very nice guy, and he said, John, what are you looking for? And I explained to him, and he goes, okay. He goes, give me a few weeks, I'll get back to you. No problem. I want to say 3 months maybe went by. He comes in with a box, a year's supply of the same exact drug, the good drug, that's crazy expensive. He gave me the year's supply for completely free.
No way.
Generic. So obviously made in India, China, and whatnot.
Right.
Generic. Okay?
But it's the drug.
Same exact everything. The pill looks exactly the same. The milligrams are the same. All the ingredients are the same. If you want to know, it's a Premolist. That's not the name of the drug itself, but that's the name of the ingredient, the Premolist. If anybody with psoriasis out there, you can look at that. I don't want to say any drug names and whatnot, but it's helped me ever since. I've been taking it for probably a year and a half. And the gentleman has brought me more supply, don't get me wrong. And the reason why I really wanted it is because, like I said, I don't care about my skin lesions, right? I'm not one of those people that are scared. I have no self-esteem issues. I can go on the beach with lesions and still go in the water. And salt water, fun in the sun helps you out, makes the lesions go away, so to say. Okay. I just didn't want the arthritis pain, because I wanted to be able to play with my children.
Right.
And that's why I take this drug, so that way I don't have the pain, and I can play with my son, I can play with my daughter, have fun, throw them around, play sports, do what I got to do. That was my only and main concern, to be able to hang out and play with my children. Everything else, I don't care about. But for this gentleman to give me
that's a big motivation.
Big motivation, but for this gentleman to give me the drug for free, I can tell you one thing, since I've been getting this drug from him, he hasn't paid for a goddamn thing where I work.
Okay.
I pay for everything for him, because that, out of respect to give me this, to change my life in order to enjoy my family, that's more than anybody can really give you at that point. How better of me to thank him than whatever he needs done, to his car. Obviously, day job, I'm an auto mechanic. I fixed it for him, and I've never been so grateful.
And obviously he trusts you.
Oh yeah, big time. He's been a long time customer, and he brings a lot of other people and customers, and that's another thing. He's a great guy, and it's just for him to do this to me, you know what I mean? To go to another country and bring it over. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's bringing over cocaine or something like that, but to bring over a pharmaceutical for me.
Oh yeah, the guy's bending over backwards.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe he get caught any time for something like that.
Well, I'm glad that's working out, but that brings up a critical issue. Because I'm always thinking a lot of things from a more or less like a security standpoint.
Yeah.
Okay? And where the dangers are that I see. What could be more obvious right now? Is there anybody in the entire internet who, if they're paying attention to for a second to what's going on with this virus and just the masks and availability, that still thinks it's a good idea for us to be reliant on like China or India or any other country for any of this stuff that's critical for us?
Well, they were recently talking about that.
Okay.
Because we don't know how sanitary the production is.
Forget about that. Forget about that. What if China just says, no, you can't have any?
Well, this happened in.
Even if it's not that good, it does you no good if it's not there.
But wait, I think, from what I remember, I don't know if it was during SARS or during some type of maybe hurricane or typhoon or something, where the USA, I think their IV bags, we get them from China.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was a shortage because wherever the IV bags were being made in China, something happened. Either it was a natural disaster or the SARS, I think maybe it was, where they stopped production. So nothing was shipping over for however long. And I think, obviously, it wasn't a media craze, IV bags, but there was a shortage of IV bags. You know, listen, if you're a doctor or a nurse and you could chime in on that to correct me if I am wrong, by all means, make a comment on that. But I think that's what happened. And I mean, I'm sure you can look up the Google it somewhere or whatnot, or see the history about it. But that wasn't a media craze because
Of course
IV bags, they give you, you know, something else, I guess, as a substance for it.
Look at what our economy was doing right before this virus, the outbreak.
Booming.
Okay, booming. What was one of the key components of that? Energy independence.
Yes.
We were no longer reliant on Middle East oil.
That's definitely sure.
Okay.
Hey, look at, have you seen the price lately?
Yeah, it's dropping.
It went down, I think, like 40 cents almost.
Because Russia and Saudi Arabia having a little pissing match.
Yeah.
Okay, which is fine.
Hey, that's fine.
Which is fine.
But it's also because I think the market's dropping, so
Yeah.
less demand, a lot of supply.
But what I'm trying to say is, how many indicators do you need flashed in front of your face? And I mean this for all Americans. To see, like him or hate him, that's up to you. But pretty much before President Trump, okay, the policies that were in existence for a long time and built over a long period of time,
I feel like we're against us.
that killed jobs, killed factories, killed towns, killed so much stuff. And then just really think about it. Just 3 years, how many manufacturing jobs come back? How many, the unemployment rates are like, I mean, you've all heard the statistics, the lowest unemployment rates ever. Everybody's working. Minimum wages are climbing. Forget about the Bernie Bros minimum wage, because there's another thing that they don't tell you about. Bernie's minimum wage of $15 an hour includes taxes that in the end will make that $15 an hour a net $7.50 an hour. Look it up, fact check it if you want.
But can I say this too? A lot of people don't realize that that's only on the federal level.
Right.
Even if the president, whoever it was, you'd only get screwed federally.
Correct.
People need to open up their eyes and realize that what really screws them is the state level governments.
Oh, well, we're already getting screwed in Jersey.
Oh, big time. It's not, that's for another show, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
But
hours and hours on
New
that.
Jersey, man, I got to hit the street corners at night. Let me tell you, that's how much we're getting taxed. Okay? God forbid I win the lottery. They're going to get half of it. But
what I'm trying to get across, and I don't know if I'm getting it out right. How many red flags do we need in this country for people to stop worrying about bullshit and start supporting doing what we need to do to protect ourselves? You think China won't turn the switch off on us for anything at any time if it's in their interest?
I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you what's the main cause of that, especially in this country. We're too distracted.
Oh, yeah.
They distract us with a lot of things. Number one, bills, right? We worry about bills all the time. How are we going to pay for this? How are we going to pay for that? How are we going to help, so-and-so, or the lazier people pay for things, right? Through taxes and all that. Then we have social media. They feed us what they want us to think about, and then we just go in a complete loop of whatever they want us to know, and then we forget what we're supposed to know because we're looking at things, and a lot of people are more worried about making a post and getting a like.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I put it this way. We're walking down the street, right? I don't know you. You're getting mugged.
Mm-hmm.
I have a chance to help you. I could probably save you from getting mugged, right? But what'd I rather do? 15 minutes of fame. Whip out my cell phone.
There you go.
Record it. You know what I mean? The guy may even mug me for all we know, or just take off. World star and whatever you say. You know what I mean? And that is something that's very bad too. Like, help one another. Don't whip out your fucking cell phone. Who gives a shit? If I'm getting in a fight with somebody, and let's just say I win the fight, and I could have been helped. Let's say I win 2 guys against me, right, or 3 guys, and let's say I get my ass kicked, but I win the fight, and I see somebody recording me that could have maybe jumped in to help me. Mark my words, I'm gonna knock him the fuck out too.
And so you should.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna take the phone, I'm gonna smash it to a million pieces, all right, and I'm gonna tell them you shouldn't have been fucking recording. You should have helped me like a normal person would have done. You know?
Well, I mean, I guess it's where you're at and when it is and who's there. Okay? A lot of that is lost. There was a time where anywhere in this country just about, people would step in and help and put a stop to something that was wrong. They'd see somebody trying to grab a kid and a mother screaming.
Help.
They'd interfere. They did not let them run off with a kid.
What about those people in the airport? In the airport, the lady tried taking the kid out of the carriage, and people were just standing there looking. But here's another thing, right? Criminal justice, right? You've taken it, however long ago that was. Mm-hmm. I remember when I had to take a course of that, they were telling me that, let's say somebody crashes and the car is burning up, and now I run there, I save the person. While I'm saving them, I break their arm.
Yep.
I rip off a toe or something, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I just saved the goddamn life, but then they turn around and is like, oh, you've scarred me for life because now I have a broken arm. I can't do nothing.
Right.
And what would you do at that point? Now you're going to fucking sue me for saving your life? At that point, I'd rather just throw you back in a fucking burning car then, And that's, I think, another thing that hinders people from saving people, because the person you just saved can turn around and sue you for something.
And how did that come to be?
Lawyers.
Bingo.
Fucking lawyers, man.
Bingo.
If you're a lawyer, feel free to chime in as well.
Hold on. Listen, I know a lot of lawyers, okay?
There's a lot of good lawyers.
I know a lot of good lawyers. Have been great friends over the years even. But the lawyers work on the politicians to get these stupid-ass laws passed to make more work for them. And I understand that, if you can do that. The problem isn't with the lawyers trying to make more work for themselves. That's a good thing. Everybody who's in a business wants to make more work for themselves. The politicians going along with it. That's the problem.
Yes. Well, you know why? Because everybody's hands getting greased.
I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember there was a time, quite a while ago, where in New Jersey, in particular, like the general attitude, openly even, was, yeah, we know our government is corrupt.
We're just going along with it.
But we're just going along with it because,
the whole...
because we're doing okay. We're doing okay.
But we're not. People are leaving.
Oh, now they are.
I see everywhere.
Now they are.
People are leaving, older generation. I don't know if this is true or not. It may be or maybe not. Is there an exit tax?
Here?
Yeah. Like if you try to leave, they try to tax you?
There is.
How do you know how that works?
Not exactly, because it's not up to the state. My wife won't let me go.
Like, do they calculate? Oh, that's what it is. Did they calculate, like, how much?
Because I'd be gone already if she did.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. If I wasn't working where I was working today, I think I'd be out. And then, like I said, I have this whole plan. I said it once before on another show. If I did win the lottery, I'd buy a yacht and just live on the yacht tax-free. Pay for a slip. That's what a lot of people do in Florida. Don't they go to Florida and they buy like a houseboat, and you don't got to pay property taxes. You pay the slip where the guy's property is for the area, and he pays the taxes. It's almost like a loophole. Like when you build condos and whatnot, they get like a $300,000 a year loophole, and then the people that are living in the condos pay minimal taxes. They don't pay tax at all, and then they have 3 or 4 kids. The kids go to school. Basically, and homeowners are paying for their kids to go to school, because as a homeowner, you pay all the property taxes and school tax and all that. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
don't know.
Okay, then we have to look into that then. Unless somebody knows, then they can
Unless
tell
somebody
me.
knows,
You know what I mean?
But two things, okay? Not only are all these red flags should be getting us, when I say us, I mean all Americans, okay? And, people lose sight of the fact that these politicians that we vote for, they're employees of us, all of us. Okay, they work for us. We don't work for them.
No. And
Okay.
none of them work for us.
Okay?
You know when they work for us? When it's voting time.
Exactly. But what I'm trying to say is, we the people, which that's what this country is all about. We the people got to get on these politicians and support the ones that
Help us.
do right by us, we the
Exactly.
people, and shit cans the ones that don't.
And
Stop supporting them bastards.
And I don't care.
I don't care which party they're from.
That's what I'm saying. I don't care if you're Democrat. I don't care if you're Republican. If you are for the people, for your citizens, because I feel like citizens should be getting greater benefits than non-citizens.
Absolutely.
Or if non-citizens get benefits, the citizen should be first in line. Like I always say this.
Absolutely.
In California, there should be no homeless American citizen.
Not a one.
And a person that comes over with nothing ends up with everything. All right? Sleep with that at night. That there should be no homeless American citizens.
Especially the veterans.
Yeah, especially veterans. I mean, if you went and gave up, your almost your life, an arm, any type of limb, and you're living in the street, you're Lieutenant Dannon going around, and you don't have your Forrest Gump, the government should be your Forrest Gump, because that's who you fought for.
Think about this, because I don't want to get right into the whole...
Yeah, I don't want to get crazy.
Because we'll be here all night if we start talking
I know.
immigration and all that stuff. But I really want to harp. These examples are right in front of our face. We cannot rely on these other countries for critical things we would need in time of crisis, especially if war breaks out
We're not going to have
of any
anything.
kind, okay?
We're going to have nothing. All they have to do is stop the supply train.
Now, two things. If people would get their head out of their asses and get rid of the politicians that ain't worth a shit, okay, and get some good ones in here that care about us, we would become self-reliant like we did with fuel and energy. We would not rely on China or India or any other country for these critical things, okay? And guess what? If we're not relying on them, why can't we make it or do it, produce it here?
We can. There was a
Because
time.
then the costs, first of all, we did do it, okay?
exactly.
Because the Chinese really don't do anything they didn't copy off of us anyway.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I'm sure that's probably going to be considered an ill-mannered statement, but I don't really give a rat's ass. But if we bring the manufacturing of all these products, not only will it strengthen us from any kind of attack from outside,
It'll always be available.
look at the jobs it creates. So many more people will be able to be working better jobs, okay? Your life's ambition will no longer be working as a manager at McDonald's. Not to knock managers at McDonald's, okay? Somebody's got to do it, okay? But I don't think every one of them has that as their life ambition.
No. I mean, don't get me wrong. Listen, there's a lot of smart people living among us, okay? I just feel like they're not getting the opportunity because they have to jump through hoops now to be able to get that opportunity. Where if the opportunity is always available to get it, without having to jump through all those hoops, I think there'd be, a lot of people complain that cars should be flying today.
Well,
Would you really want to fly a car today?
would I?
You know what I mean?
Not with the knuckleheads that are around here.
People bought out toilet paper instead of food. Right?
Exactly.
Would you rather fly a car or stay on the ground at that point?
No, but I'm a firm believer that we can have great deals with global trade. We could have great deals. We can't be relying on anybody else. Okay, first of all, I'll and you could fact check this. There's only one place on this planet that in reality doesn't need anything from anywhere else. I'll give you 3 guesses where that is, and the first 2 don't count.
America.
You got it. You get the prize.
I already know. Listen, we have beautiful beaches.
We don't need anything.
We don't need anything.
No, but we have all the resources we need.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem that our government has done, right? And then we've outsourced so much to use and abuse everybody else, and we've hoarded what we have. So that way, when everybody else is depleted, maybe not in my time, maybe not in my kids' time, but their kids' time, then we're going to be the ones that are distributing things to everywhere. Because you know how much oil we have somewhere in the ground?
A lot.
A lot.
We got a lot more.
And even if we don't use the oil and they switch to methane, we got a lot of corn. You can make methane from corn, can't you?
Sure you can.
And who owns the corn? Fields. The bushes.
Now, our government, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm optimistic. And in case there's any confusion, I'll tell you openly, I used to be a lifelong Democrat. Okay? I came from New York originally.
You're like the anomaly guy, right?
Everyone in my family, everyone around me. I mean, my grandmother had a picture of, JFK right on her wall next to the Pope. It was the Pope and JFK. That's not bullshit. That was true.
Yeah.
Okay? Until Trump ran. Okay, now why is that? Because I'm not dumb. I kind of pay attention. Things over years and years were bothering me. And finally I saw a guy who I kind of saw over the years, interviews with Oprah, with this one, with that one, everyone, and him just saying things that he didn't like that he saw was going on, and them all encouraged him to run for president over the years. I'm talking going back to like the 70s.
Yeah, okay? from seeing old videos, they
said,
him.
"Why don't you run?" He didn't want to run because he thought, "I do business. There's people out there who should be able to do this well." But he said, "If I ever felt I had to step in, I will." Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? He did step in, and I think it was a good move on his part, and it was a good move on our part to support him. I don't think the country is as divided as these horseshit liberal media people and everybody else would tell you. Because I talk to people all over the place.
I talk to people every day at work. And let me tell you something. I love everybody. I love all my customers. If I have a difference of opinion with them, we can debate it a little bit, no problem. But you know what? At the end of the chat that we have, I don't hate anybody.
No,
they don't hate me.
No,
we shake hands. We have a beer. I fix their car, and everybody walks out happy. You know what I mean?
I mean, don't get me wrong. Ordinarily, JJ will tell you, I'm not one of those people that's shy about speaking my opinion.
That's for sure.
No matter how Neanderthal it might be at times.
Well, how many good conversations have we had in my office?
Oh, too many to count.
With other customers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, with other customers. And JJ can tell you, I don't know who they are, what their background is when I start. And they don't leave hating me.
Great conversations. It's nothing evil. It's nothing nasty. Difference of opinions. And then, it's almost like a change my mind episode where either they change our mind or they make us think a little bit differently. You know what I mean? Or we change their mind, or you change their mind, I change their mind, I change your mind. That's what it's all about. If you can make the correct statements and factual information to have somebody think like, oh my God, maybe they're right. Let me think about it. Let me go home. Let me search it. Let me look at it. Let me find out if that's correct. And if they do, and they change their mind about something, then I'm not saying you won. I'm just saying maybe you opened up their mind to something new. Because there is a lot of people out there that just one track.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I would say this to anybody. If there was someone running for president who was talking about putting policies in place as Trump did, which I agreed with those policies, which he has done.
Yeah.
Okay? So one thing right off the bat, and I've been around for a pretty long time, first politician or president for sure in my life that not only has kept any promise he made when he was campaigning, he's kept all of them and plus some. Okay? So, but my point being this, party doesn't and shouldn't mean shit to anybody because it's a scam. Okay? Most people don't realize this, but for the most part, local politics is a little different. Once you get up at the national level, Congress, Senate, for the longest time, for the past 50 years, how do you think this country got so screwed up as it is? It was all Republicans and Democrats working together hand in hand, side by side.
They're all making money.
Doing the same. How the hell do you think we have 22 trillion, I think, in debt now?
Debt. It's all in their pockets.
22 trillion, okay? They didn't do it on just Democratic votes or just Republican votes. They did it holding hands, okay? So my point is this. It's not, to me, it's just right now the Democratic Party, it seems like they got nothing but cuckoo birds over there, like running the show, like the shit they're talking about. This, I mean, anybody who knows anything about history in socialist countries, you know, I'm not talking about the very young who just, you know, are, you know, see the free shit. Oh, free shit, I want it. Free shit, I want it.
Listen, common sense knows that you have to work. There's no way that a college that you went to, that you owe money to, is just going to forgive you.
No, they will right now. They do, because you know why? Because the college got no skin in the game.
Oh,
it's
sorry about
federal money.
Federal money. But what about the banks that you took a loan from?
Oh, no, they're not letting it go.
Now, let me put it this way. When you take a loan, you don't necessarily take the loan from the bank. You take the loan from the people that put their money into the bank.
Exactly.
So you put $100 in there, and, you know, Cliff over there is getting your $100 when he takes it out of the ATM as a loan or something like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Okay? So therefore, you're not screwing the banks when you say you're going to forgive loans. You're screwing the people that put their money into the banks. So let's just say, what they say, like 43 million people owe money? Mm-hmm. Okay. So say 43 million people owe $2, you know, billion or more, right? And let's say the banks only have, you know, 1 billion, you know, 900 some thousand, whatever. Some people ain't getting their money back. They put it that way.
Exactly.
You're going to open up your bank account and it's going to say flash zero because, you know, the debt was forgiven. So the bank's going to be like, sorry, John.
No, but a lot of
back.
these people, it's like, you know, I think all of this stuff, it really ties together, okay? The virus is the biggest eye-opener right now.
It is.
Okay, about the dangers we've put ourselves into. And when I say we, I mean the bastard politicians that were supposed to be representing us.
It opens up your eyes at the fact that if there is a major crisis, that we will get screwed out of supplies.
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest thing, because you can't go down the street and see a factory making anything other than maybe weapons or just, you know, local type stuff. But no big factories are out there making iPhones here. You know, cars pretty much they only make, and most of the cars I think are made in Canada and Mexico for the big manufacturers.
Well, you know what? What's that saying? Peace through strength.
Yeah.
Okay. The stronger our country is economically, the stronger our country is in a bargaining position with other countries. Okay. We can afford to be nice to everybody as long as we're taking care of us first.
Exactly.
That's the truth of the matter. Can anybody who doesn't take care of themselves really additionally take care of anybody else?
No.
Not really.
And that's another reason why I think that a lot of times that we should stay out of other countries' businesses.
I agree with that.
Because then listen, unless you really have to intervene. I mean, if they're like killing people, innocent people type thing, yeah.
Innocent.
If they're killing innocents, if they're doing some type of warfare, nuclear, that's gonna, you know, the new cloud is gonna come around back to us. You know, same thing like they say about carbon emissions and whatnot. So let's just say if America is the cleanest country on the planet.
Okay.
All right? We don't put, no car spits out any type of carbon emissions, right?
We're cleaner than most.
Yes, no, we are. But China does. India does. You're trapped in a globe that air eventually
It's all the same air.
circulates over to America. So you could be the cleanest person there, man, but your pits are still going to smell from somebody else's sweat.
That's exactly right.
You know what I mean? So that's how it works, man. And that's just me talking real. That's me not even taking any type of side or anything like that. That's me just thinking logically. And mind you, like my friend here, I'm not a scientist. I'm just common sense.
That's where it's at. It works for everything. And even that, what you're saying, forget what these socialist morons are saying. If we held the most chips in a global economy game, since we're already doing the most to have cleaner air and water, if we're holding the bigger chips, if we're really the superpower, doesn't that give us more leverage to get India and China on board?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's also another reason why.
Because we could afford to make good deals with them that will help them prosper, but only if you're going to come on board with this.
No, I know.
Not this bullshit that they were touting when Trump got in with this. We're gonna send trillions of dollars to whatever that stupid deal was, TPP or whatever.
Well, he did get out of the what was that? The Paris treaty?
Yeah, the Paris Accord.
And the reason he got out is because he was saying that we were paying more in than we were receiving out. And we were paying more than any other country was.
Yeah, and those other countries are the biggest problems.
Exactly.
So why are we paying? Okay, we're not the problem.
I know.
Another common sense thing.
Well, business aspect of it.
I'm all about common sense.
My whole thing is this, man. If like I said, I don't care who runs or who gets in. I just want somebody that's for the people and understands the business aspect of it. But the problem with people that aren't... See, the reason I think Trump is okay, in my eyes, is because he was rich already.
Exactly.
And
he didn't need the government job to get rich.
Exactly.
You look at all these other sons of bitches. You look at how much they were worth before they became politicians.
Democrat or Republican, it does not matter what party you're at. If you're broke before you go in and you come out filthy rich, like a lot of both sides have become,
there's a problem.
Exactly. There's a big problem. And you know, a lot of these people that are complaining about the rich are the rich.
Exactly.
So I think it was Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, Discovery Channel. He said something along the lines of, it's a bunch of millionaires complaining about
a bunch of billionaires.
A bunch of billionaires complaining about how rich a bunch of billionaires are. It's all the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Bernie the Socialist, three houses.
Yeah, 3 houses.
$4 million.
$4 million. And here I'm busting my ass, man, to take care of my wife and kids, put my kid through good schooling or whatnot.
Make an honest living.
Make an honest living, man, you know? Going through all the weather, hot, cold, hot, you know, body's aching, got to be on this medication from India, you know, if you're following. So here we go, this guy has a slight heart attack, running for president. Rich as hell.
Yeah, he's back now. Yeah. And the other primo candidate got dementia.
Dementia, yeah.
Now, that's not, I'm making fun of dementia by any means, but I mean, come on. Don't anybody watch these guys on TV?
Well, in a way, I'm not saying I'm gonna, you know, I like Bernie, but in a way, I feel bad for him.
No, I don't feel bad for him.
Well, I feel bad.
He's selling all his followers a bill of goods.
He is.
He knows it ain't true. He knows. First of all, he knows right off the bat.
And that's why his own party's attacking him.
He knows right off the bat. If he was president, he couldn't do any of the shit that he says he's going to do.
No, and
because you know why?
The Republicans.
Because you're never going to get enough votes in the House and the Senate to support his bullshit ideas.
Exactly.
Okay? Free shit is never free. That's the reality of life.
But you know what I wanted to say? Not so much on the federal level, but on the state level. Whatever they try to implement, like higher wages, right? Or like tax on something else, I feel that they should put it to a state vote.
What do you mean? Like at the federal level?
No, at the state level. Like state, right? Like they just raised the minimum wage. I guess
right.
in 3 years or so, it's going to be 15.
Yeah.
They didn't do that with people voting, did they?
Oh, you mean people voting on that individually?
Yes.
Like by referendum?
Yes. I feel like that the state level administrations, when they come up with these weird fucking plans and they want to implement it, I feel like they should put it to a vote to see if the people of that state want this to go into effect.
No, you're missing the big key.
What's the big key?
The big key is we did it. We put those assholes in place and gave them the power to do it without asking us.
That's the thing that they should stop. Even if we
Who they?
Well,
Whoa.
The voters. The voters.
No. The voters. Or are you talking about the politicians? You really think that the politicians are going to stop doing the power that they have already?
Here's the problem. You
think they're going to put up a... Let's change that.
Well, here's what they should do.
Hell no.
Here's what we should do as the people of each state. We should implement that whoever we put into power, no matter what they want to do, should go to a vote to the people. Because almost now they're acting like a king or a queen. Whatever, you got them into power, whatever they want to do, they do. Hey, I want to raise your tax just because. I raise the tax just because.
That's our fault.
That is our fault. Don't get me wrong. And I think a lot of people didn't also or don't go vote because they don't realize that that's their right. They think that they're going to get penalized.
Well, that's because a lot of people, it's not their right.
Yeah, yes and no, but
in New Jersey,
that's for another show.
It's not their right.
That's for another show. But the people that do have the right to vote, I think, just don't go out.
They don't bother.
No, they don't bother.
Hey, listen, not for nothing. The Bernie Bros, they were just talking about it. He got his ass kicked by Biden in all these primary states because his people didn't come out and vote.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
It could be that, or it could be that his own party is also forcing everybody to vote.
First of all, whoa. That ain't Bernie's party.
Now
he's not a Democrat. I don't even know why they let him run on their ticket. I don't even understand that.
And you don't want to hear something funny?
They should tell him. They should have told him right from jump. No, Bernie, you're not in.
No,
we're Democrats. You're not.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta hop on somebody's train to get in. You know what I mean?
Finance your own campaign and run as an independent.
I think they use them anyway. They use them just to knock out the other, the party Democrats.
Oh yeah,
Warren and everybody. And you know who's still running?
Tulsi.
And you know what? I don't dislike her. I think she has some good points. You know what I mean? I honestly think she probably should have run not in a party. Maybe independent. Independent maybe would have helped her, because when you run in a party like that, if they don't like you,
oh yeah, you're done.
You're done. You know what I mean? Well, she only got 2 delegates, I think, something like that. I saw the other day on the news.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother long conversation.
Whole nother conversation. I mean, we'll be back. We'll be back with a 3rd episode, right? Let me know if you like what's going on. We had a good time, right?
Absolutely.
Good time. Make a note in the comments. Let us know, what else you want us to talk about. Anything that you want the venture side of things to talk about, and we will talk about.
Or for that matter, anything you don't agree with, let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. We got no problem. This is, like I said, venture side of things. It's just our opinions, our thoughts, common sense, logical thinking, whatever you want to hear. I'm game. I'm game to debate. I'm game to talk about whatever you want to talk about, and we can take it from there. Right?
I think we can call that a wrap.
Yeah, we definitely call it a wrap, man. Wait, no, we got to fist bump. Right, we got to stay away from each other now.
Say common sense, got to use it.
Corona.
Alrighty.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Venture side of things. Have a great night.